Out of what crypt they crawl, I cannot tell. But every night, I see the rubbery things, black-horned and slender with membranous wings. They come in legions on the north wind's swell, with obscene clutch that titillates and stings, snatching me off on monstrous voyages to gray worlds hidden deep in nightmare's well. Over the jagged peaks of thought, they sweep headless of all the cries I try to make, and down to the nether pits to that foul lake, where the puff shagoffs splash in doubtful sleep. But oh, if only they would make some sound, or wear a face where faces should be found. Aegon. I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more. Penniless and at the end of my supply of the drug, which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer and shall cast myself from this carriage window into a squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death. It was in one of those most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet, of which I was supercargo, fell a victim to the German sea raider. The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degraduation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners. So liberal indeed was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time. When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight. The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days, I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to disappear in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream infested, was continuous, while when at last I awakened, it was to discover myself half stuck into a slimy expanse of hellish black mirror, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished, for there was in the air and the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not help to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet. As I crawled into a stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions which for innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under the unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean strain my ears as I might, nor were there any sea fowl to prey upon the dead things. For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side afforded the slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens of the day to rest. The ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes. In a short time that night I slept a little, and next day I made myself a package containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue. On the third morning I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with greater things than mine, just like an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown vault. All day I forged steadily westward, guided by far away hummock, which rose higher in another elevation of the rolling desert. At night I encamped, and falling gaze of travel toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first decided. By the fourth evening I attained the base of ground, which turned out to be much higher than it had been from a distance, and intervening valley setting hid out in the sharper relief of the general surface, too very twisted and stuck in the shadow of the hill. I know why my dreams were so wild that night. The eerie, waning, and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain. I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day without declared for the parting sun. The journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had returned me at sunset. Taking up my path, I started for the crest of the heavens. I had said the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me, but I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mountain and looked upon the other side into an immeasurable pit or kingdom whose black restlessness the moon had not yet soared high enough. Pit or kingdom was better than I, that illumined. I fell myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. through my tail ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost and Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that slopes of the valley were not quite so vernacular as I had imagined. Ledges without toppings from rock pointed, fairly easily footholds were a descent bounced after the top of the moon were peaking. That's the decision became a very gradual urge-drive by impulse, which I cannot definitely analyze. I scrambled up, physically down the rocks and stood on a downward slope and gazing into the city where I had penetrated. All at once my attention was captured by a vast and seemingly all on the opposite slope, which rose steadily and feebly about 100 yards from me. And now that wind quietly raised in the setting moon, it was merely a gigantic piece of stone. I soon assured myself that I conjured a distinct impression that its contour and precision are not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its numerous magnitude and position of it, which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt the strange object was a well-shaped monolith whose massive bulk had no workmanship, and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, did not feel that true. No, the sound of I examined its mapping more closely. The moon, now near the center, shone weirdly, vividly above the towering sea, attending the chasm from a blue that flowing body of water, below at the bottom, blinding out the sky, and water after tunnels, laughing at me, and I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wind washed the face of the encyclopedian monolith on whose surface I could not trace wood. Inscriptions and crude sculptures, the writing was in the system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I had seen so consistent as a most part, the conventionalism, the flag symbols, the petition deals, often the appreciation, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Commences in 30 seconds.
Marine things, which are members of our world.
Sure could have found a pickup game here.
Or archaeologists alike, I examined my surroundings more closely. The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering seas at the end of the chasm, and revealed the fact that a powerful body of water flowed at the bottom, lining out the sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope across the chasm. The wave of washed the base of the encyclopedic monolith of the surface. I could now trace those constructions and crude cultures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I had ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of the conventional life of applied symbols, suspicious eels, octo, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. So the characters obviously represented the limits which are under control. Even over the world, I had a good association with it was the total
I'm on fire. Fields down.
Commence attack on objective B.
At some monolithic shrine, the food feeling and things as well. The play gates performed, and there beyond the imagination of a parent and a dollar. They were famously human in general outline despite their hands and feet. Shockingly loud and flapping lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seemed to have been super family out of proportion with their seed back then, where one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale which depicted as a little longer than himself. I don't know if I can over here. And close up, I only decided that they were really the heavenly gods of some primitive Christian tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished. There was before the first ancestor of Pilgrim or Neanderthal man was born. At this point, which was the past-born conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing off the moon, cast clear reflections on the sky, and fully instantly I thought, it tried to service the then slid into the beauty above the and left him to break like the Indian monster, and ran out to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while its bowed head hit its head, and gave vent the certain measured sound. I think I went back, and while of my frantic accent of the slow and cliff, and my delirious journey after the stranded boat, I remembered little. I believe I sang a great deal and laughed audibly when I was unable to sing. I have instinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I've heard peals of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship, which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been escaped. Of any land of people in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing, nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon things which I did not believe. Once I saw that, I became a philologist and a music, a pure question regarding the ancient Muslim legend of Dagon. the fish god, but soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries. It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surgencies, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written up all accounts for the information, or the intended amusements of my fellow men. Often I ask myself if I could not all have been a mere phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay unshaken and raving, and over after my escape from the jury and the world. Yes, I ask myself, whatever does there come before me, I take a vivid vision in the reply. I cannot think of the deep sleep, but by shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be falling climbing on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their only pestilent lightness, and slumbering obelisk of quiet face woman. A dream of a deadful day may rise above the villas to drag down their winking talons to the remnants of gloomy war-exhausted mankind of the day when the land shall sink in a dark ocean port, shall send a mist universal and moment. The end is near, I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it, they shall not find me, God, that band, the window, the window. The NECRONOMICON. The statements of Randolph Carter. I repeat to you, gentlemen, that if Inquisition is fruitless, detain me here forever if you will. Confine or execute me if you must have a victim to propitiate the delusion you call justice. But I can say no more than I have said already. Every truth that I can remember, I will tell you, with perfect and no. Nothing has been distorted or conceded. At any humane lay, it is only because of the dark cloud which has come over my mind. I cloud the numerous nature of the horrors which run on me. Again, I say, I do not know, as you know. Warning. No, I think almost hope is in peaceful oblivion. If there be anywhere so blessed a thing, it is true that I have for 5 years been his closest friend and a partial share of his terrible researches in the unknown. I will not deny, though my memory is uncertain and indistinct, that this witness of yours may have seen us together as he says on the Gainesville Pike, walking towards Big Cypress Swamp at 2:30 on Alpine. Every fellow, all of the arrangements, scenes, and curious photo of fire, passion, and service. I will even affirm these names, although I must even sing from a my shape recollection, both the following and the reason I was found alone in days on the edge of the swamp next morning. I must insist that I know nothing, so I will over and over again. You see to me, there is nothing in the swamp or near it which should before, the same that I knew nothing. That's all. Some things I might not describe, alone can tell. As I have said before, the weird studies of Holly Morton were well known to me. And some things shared by me of his vast collection of strange, rare books and forbidden subjects I have read all everything in the languages of which I am master, but those are best compared with those in languages I cannot understand. Most as to the nature, more studies must I say again that I no longer retain that population to it. It would seem to me rather merciful that I do not, for they were terrible studies, which I pursued more through reluctant fascination than through actual inclination. War and always foundation which is theory, like certain forces that decay, the rest work, in fact, when we are moved out of fear, but I do not fear him now, for I suspect that he was no horrors beyond my ken. But a fear for him. Once more I say that I have no clear idea of our subject on that night. Certainly, it had much to do with something in the book which we carried with him, thanks to the book and undecidable characters which had come to him from India a month before. I swear to God, no, that it was too high, he saw us as you. Being all that, big side, this is small, this is probably true, but I have no distinct memory. The picture seen as my shoulders are once seen only, and I know it must have been long after midnight, over a waning crescent moon was high in the vaporous heavens. The place was an ancient cemetery, so ancient that I trembled at the manifold signs of the memorial years. It was in a deep damp hollow in the room where rank grass mossy trees could be used for a base skin, which while I face is a big alternative to the body stone. On every hand there was signs of neglect and discretion, where I see the concept of motion, and more around the pristine creatures that made all the silence of centuries. Movement,
Fire! Keep out of my way!
Of the catacombs, and its feeble, wavering beams I could distinguish were repellent array of antique slabs, urns, citadels, and mausoleum cathedral, crumbling, moss-grown, and moisture-stained, and powerfully concealed by the gross luxuriance of the unhealthy vegetation. My first vivid impression of my own presence in this terrible necropolis concerns the anthropological form for a certain kind of the left lantern, and two things outside the supplies from the lantern, that is something of it. No one preserved the task. Seemed known to us. Without delay, we seized our spades and commenced to clear away the grass weeds, ripped the shoulders from the flat arch gate mortuary, and during covering the entire surface, which consists of 3 immense granite slabs, we sent back so neat as to make a hollow city, and glorious information of mental populations, returned saved with her, and using his fate as leverage to slap on the universe in room, which may have been a monument to him today. He did not succeed and motioned to me to come to his assistance. Finally, our combined strength loosened the stone, which we raised and tipped to one side. The removal of the slab revealed a black aperture from which flesh and echoing itself, like asthma gas is so nauseous that we slowed down and forward and break the door and the fire as one there long into the instead, moving some additional factors of the inner and bordered by moist walls encrusted with nitro. And now, for the first time, I heard records verbal source, warm and messing me, I went and spelled in her voice, a voice seemingly unperturbed by our awesome surroundings. I'm sorry to ask you to stay on the surface, he said, but it would be times that anyone would be afraid of going down there. You can't come out, even from what you have it's been short further, but I doubt you'll be there about having that. I heard to see it through, and come alive and saying, I don't wish to offend you, but heaven knows I'm glad you want to have you with me. The responsibility is even since mine, but I think, right, I'm a little nervous, like you said, but I'm getting energetic. That's probably you using into the winning. Just to treat you, and warm on this telephone at every move. You see, I'm not the longer, the reason for very bad. I can still hear the memory of the truly spoken words, and I can still remember my earnest senses. I seem desperately anxious, like moving my friend because simply to death, and he grew me as he conquers, and moved back to the being I remain insistent at rest, which proves that Lincoln, sensing low, held the key to the thing. All this I can still remember, though I no longer know the manner of things, which sounds after we have seen all the time. I suppose it's things in his design. All who pick up a real one, just moving covers effort, and he took my head forward in a little wire, over the tight side from the glow of his lantern and heard the rustle of the wire as he laid it down after him. But the glow soon subdued abruptly, as if a turn in the stone staircase had been encountered, and the sound died from the rest of the fluid. I was alone, but I was not even better. The voice I understand, voice instantly from the surface, so I dreamed of describing beings. After lying in the room, I constantly controlled my watch on the lantern, and listened with beautiful anxiety after the key of the telephone, but for before an hour, heard nothing. Then a faint clicking came from the instrument. I called down to my friend in a tense voice, apprehensive as I was nevertheless unprepared for the words which came up, and I held Penny Walt's accents more alarmed and quivering than any I had heard before from Harold Harley Warren. He who had so calmly left me a little while previously, now called from alone a shaky whisper, more interesting, a louder shriek. God, if I could see what I am seeing, I could not answer, speechless like the only ways. Then came the frenzied tones again, counter as terrible, monstrous, unbelievable. This time my voice did not fail me, my voice is a faint picture full of excited questions, but I continued to repeat, Warren, what is it? What is it? Once more, the voice of my friend still forced of fear, and now apparently teems with despair. I can't tell you, Archer. It's too utterly beyond trust. I dare not tell you, no man could know. And in red, great God, I never dreamed of this. Stillness again, save for my now, preparing for the terror through. The voice of Warren, official powder, consternation cover. The Lord God who does slap back. Again, listen, you can't put either of the events in outside. Only your chance. Do as I say, don't ask me to explain. I heard that I was able to repeat my frantic questions around me with his wounds in the darkness and shadows below me, some peril beyond the radius of human imagination, that my friend was in great danger tonight, and through my fear I felt a vague resentment that he should deem me capable of deserting him of such circumstances. More looking after a positive piteous cry from Warren, beat it for God's sake, put the back slab and beat it Parker. Something a voice slang in my evidence-stricken companion unleashed my faculties. I formed and jumped into resolution. Warren, race up. I'm coming down, but I missed out through the stone. My eyes are changed, screaming about this there. No, you can't understand, it's too late. That line falls back from that. The slab, there's nothing else you can do or anyone else. Do not. The stone stands in time of water and stop the quality as a hopeless resignation that remains transferred anxiety for me. Put my hands to like I tried to feed him, tried to break through the paralysis which held me, and would fill my mouth and rush down to his aid, but his head whispered behind me still. Found the nurse and chains I'm sorry for. Croucher, hurry up. There's no use, you must go. Better one than two, the slab of Oswald Bloom and the voice of one. Nearly over now, coming to the hugger. Cover those damn steps and run for your life. You are losing time, so long, Crocker. I want to see you again. Hear Warren's whisper swelling to a cry. I cried and back to the race, but shriek. Cried with all the horror of the pages. Curse these hellish things, legions, my God. Beat it, beat it, beat it. As I was silence, I many interminable eons. I sat stupefied, whispering, muttering, calling, screaming into the telephone, over and over again. Through those eons, I was muttering, calling, shouting, and screaming, Warren, as we over there. And the king's being the crowning war. An unbelievable, unthinkable, almost unmentionable thing. I have said that eons seemed to last after Warren shaking forth his last, despairing, calling, and my own cries now broke the peace silence. And after a while, there was a further flitting in the receiver. I strained my ears listening, and when that Warren, are you there? I had answered everything was brought this time. Over my own. I do not try by means like that, the thing I was, but I adventures described it in detail since the first voice to the way my consciousness increased at that time, which reaches into a time of my awakening in the hospital. So I said, a voice of deep, hollow, calculating, who knows no perfectly, inconvenient, disembodied, for I'm saying that in my stage, and in my life, I'm doing a moral proof that I have never known this history of all of the revelation of all of these, who have been began all ages, first of all, in the early grass of the battle, who we saw the grand outside of the end, shadow things that are first and making the doom that means song. There is a land of God, a vast lake that is fed by a stream, and after 10,000 years ago, next to the Christ, first of the mighty city, saw it, Sarnath stands there no more. Things will never be normal. You assume the world is young, full of terror to the man Sarnath. King of the land of the Nod. Not the biggest inside, like the great intensity of it. This is a whole and people think that we can see more people, and simply what he's doing that we are doing some person deciding and we're the big fact that things with it, no US, and like the cities of it, that are hopefully having security years and will have use of all the organizations and one iPhones and illness, and they will absolutely embrace those certificate. This is what he did, sir, they were the secret said I will and a lot of stuff offering. Great water is here. Before with three guys, and just giving us and it is the virus of that. That one day, it's so hard, and we're happy with the next time I'll use in the ancient times, and man, you tell me this, but I put it in the ancient living things. Beings of such aspects should walk out of the world and then because nor did they like the strange sculptures along the great models of it. Or those sculptures linger so late in the world even until they come and reconcile as well because of the long time. There is no most of the lands who are being reviewed as of it, and they tell the one things that do their proof, and it was zealous because they found the beings to be self-sufficient, precious stones and arrows. So they made the young warriors and the singers and the spirit and the bow and marched against him, and slew all inhabitants they went, pushing up clear bodies and all the things and it was not like a great stone, it has to be also into the lake of great grass, but the labor, however, the stones were brought from afar, as they must have been, so stand his house like him behind the knob, or the lands and adjacent, thus over their ancient city of Pit was nothing spared, save the sea green. Still, I am completely like this spot. Understood. This is the young warriors who had taken a single conquest through the old gospel kings, and second leadership in the north, none of the countries were set, centuries everything must have happened, for your flags were seen over the land, and the morning being found out on the high priest of Tyrannus, lying dead, and the first thing you have is people, the 40 that Tyrannus, and so you come over the life, which was the first king of the sun through, like Tyrannus, and the meaning of the sun, and then the secret came out of town, and many of these things, when the sun had passed exceedingly, so that it was also remember the Tyrannus, on the altar which was on it. He puts the sun out, the city of Covenant, but always a power hand and back, and the precious metal in order for exchange for elementals, and where plots and rules, those equals are produced, and all the things country, and to be able to belong to an and the arms to Sarnath, that's the way on the change points, and all the armies to the neighboring cities, and the time that the same conquerors and all the time, all the land to take, all the road, and all the Sarnath, and all the desert, all the warriors wolf, and all the cities, and the rest, as one road, and the long side,
Cease your resistance.
So high were they that one will think might sometimes fancy themselves with you. Only the sky and wind might and forces dip, and not worlds are there. Good walls to us, and things always, swing your thoughts and sides, and out to the other, many worlds there is a path. All these problems and problems that are just meant to be, and most of the house support from the face of area, and that time to be. And they work with like channels which cast scented waters at pleasing jest, or rainbow cunning art, of shining waters with the house of King Bernard, and the lands of adjacent, on a pair of rolling carriage lines, crested the many steps, above the gleaming pool, and it brought forth one piece of ivory, though no man lives in those ones, so mass of peace, could have found in that palace there were also many galleries, and many amphitheaters, where lines and then elephants tackled as your kings, sometimes amphitheaters were flooded, with water conveyed from the lake and the mighty aqueducts, and then or enacted several sea fights, combats between swimmers and deadly marine things, lofty and amazing were the 17 tower-like temples of Sarnath, fashioned of bright multicolored 17 known elsewhere, of 12,000 cubits high, so the greatest among them, wherein the high priest above magnificence, stars less than that the kings, on the ground were halls of vast and splendid as those palaces, where deadly bronze and worshipped as no pillar, and Tanash, and long, and the chief gods of Sarnath, who consents in delicate trains, were thrones and monarchs, not like the Necrons of all the gods, who those are still with power, and so matched, and the one, close of one, where they had one night sweat, with fierce gods, themselves safe on ivory thrones, and up on endings as was different, was the tower chamber where the high priest ruled over the city, and the flames in the night by day, and of the cricket moon was moving stars and planets, the reflections of the lake, and I feel this was done, a very secret ancient went from the depth station of the front, and the water lizard had here crested, of the altar, of crystallized with four tomb scroll of Tyrannus. Wonderful likewise with the gardens made by the Old King in the center of Sarnath, they lay covered covering the great space and encircled by a high wall. And many were surmounted by a mighty dome of glass through which came the sun moon, and planets when it was clear, and from which were hung bulbous images of the sun, moon, and stars and planets. When my clear and summer gardens were cool with fresh odors, breezes skillfully wafted by fans, and in winter they were heated with concealed fires, set up in those gardens in which spring. There ran little streams over bright petals, dividing meads of green gardens, of many hues and sand, and multitudes of ridges, many waterfalls and courses, and the lightless, road white swans, rose the music of rare birds, of melody of the waters, and ordered terraces rose the green banks going here, and there were bowers of vines and sweet blossoms. Since these were precious and there were many small shrines and temples where one might resurrect small gods. Each year there were celebrated in Sarnath, the feast of the destroying of Biv, at which time wine, song, dancing, and merriment, their kind of great altars were indicated the shades of those who had memories of all ancient kings, and memory of those kings, and the elder gods was divided by the dancers, the Mutanus crown of wood, roses from the gardens to the park, and kings would look at the light and curse the bones of the dead, held beneath it. At first the high priest liked not these festivals, for there had descended amongst them queer tales of how the sea queen Echion had vanished, and how Terianish had died from fear and left a warning, and they said that there from their high tower they sometimes saw lights beneath the waters of the lake that had 10 years passed without calamity, increased, relaxed, and cursed in common multitudes of darknesses. Beneath the themselves, in their high tower of form, that they really shouldn't see the price and sensation of the Pokemon, the religion, and 1,000 years of religion that life passed through this area. One of the rules, movies beyond God was people 1,000 years, and this world is nothing they had it stuck in a hundred and it was not the so all those in hands and all said, we're not going to make out that not from the lands beyond, it would not the walls that way tonight, or the country that really should see these families, but then the king went to the nation wide, who also fought but it's right about beating the walls and hurting slaves, there were these strange embassies, and at these, big huts from the distant hills of England, fields of camels from the desert mountains to that rain rooms, and girls from the weight watchman tall, was all together the burning God throughout. Other sounds there were untold number, carried by the sunless cooks, they all belonged, and she would be protected, but who beasted, and most time all the animals, but the wishes of the light, feeding the exercise out, and the pursuit, and golden planters, double. And reason happens, that's the thing, no excuse it, working in the career for us, and you family mission, as the way to go on golden planters, of those seasons also, all the trees of the hills, and that walls, where the walls of this is making lines, many of them, the angels, are high graced, and icon, the blue sun of shadows, and same cold things moving, and like the man with the world on those, like to meet the moon, traveling center age, this practice, and the dunes of the painted Sarnath, thereafter those, in the towers and the half walls, beheld strange lights on the water, and saw the great rock, a Herbion, which was wont to rear high, like spiritual, and also she heard, and give ring way, and swiftly saw Christ's throne, and the fire were all fall, so down, the holy victims and others in pocket, they start to do the reason why
You should
and no ear thoughts were rude, men whose eyes were wild of fear, shrieked aloud at the sight of the king Antiphal, where, through the windows, were seen among the points of darkest high, and fellows and slaves, no more than Israel green voiceless things, with holding eyes, having clapping lips, and curious ears which had danced forwardly, burying their paws, holding fighters and trees and knives, communicating from flames, like as in battles that they fled from the dunes of Sarnath, on the horses and camels and elephants, looking from the midst of different legends, all their calls, all the arms, for this place was merged, the land of the and Jason, spread the tales of the Jew of Sarnath, the burning of South and the city, and his country struggles no more, who was the long care and travel, on the way to the first moment, and the lines, all looking and then, these men leaving on the beach of Sarnath, and moving from the rest of the lake itself, the great rock of Herbion, which were side of the other shoulder, where once had risen walls of great roots and towers, and stretched only marshy shore, where once had left 50 million of men now crawled, with a test below, now even the mines of precious metal remain, the slides of this green idol, like seeing idol, chiseled in the likeness of Walker, the great Walker lizard, that idol from Sarnath from the high circle, at low neck, suspended, worship the meat, using the light and honor.
冻住，不许走！
The cast of all power. It is said that in all power, which lies beyond the river sky, no man can kill a cat. And this I would gently believe as I gaze upon him who sits purring before the fire. While he points his quiver and floats strange things which men cannot see. He is the soul of antiquity, ages ago, and bearer of tales from forgotten cities and Meroe and Ophir. He is the kin of the jungle's lords, and heir to the secrets of Horay, and sinister Africa. Her students is his cousin, and he speaks her language. But he is more ancient than the Sphinx, and remembers that which she hath forgotten. And all are anger the purposes for they be killing cats, and over and strong, who delighted to trap and slay the cats with their neighbors. Why they did this I know not, save that they hate the voice of the cat in the night, and take it to that cats should run stealthily about yards and gardens at twilight. For whatever reason, this old man had the only pleasure of finding and slaying a cat which came near to their hovel, and this from some of the sounds heard after dark. Many villagers fancied that the manner of slaying was exceedingly peculiar, but the villagers did not discuss such things with the old man and not because of actual expression on their faces of view, because the body was so strong so that we hidden under the trading boots, after that to make like a yard in truth, much as others of cans become over. They feared them more, and instead of reading them as rural assassins would pretend that those years that were masters to stray, or to the remote pillow, when they were in the trees, when they thought the window was having kind of dread, comes from that car, and loses her lament, and personally, or crossroads by hunting fate, and was not one of the children who had thus vanished. The people of Ulthar were simple, and knew not whence it is all cats first came. One day, a caravan of strange wanderers was found entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ulthar. Dark wanderers they were, and unlike the other roving folk who passed through the village twice every year, in the marketplace they sold portions of silver and black ADs from merchants. What was the land these wanderers don't tell? It was the that they were given to strange traders, and left behind on sides of their wagon. Strange traders, those human bodies, that heads of cats, dogs, rams, and lions, no leader of the caravan, or headrests, the two horns, and curious distance, the horns. There was in some of the caravan a little boy with a fire of mother, and when they had finally left him to cherish, the plague might not been kind to him, it had left him the small fruity things in this game, the sorrow of one very young, one came by and frequently the likely and with his graceful visit on the steps of Mount Face Mining. On the third morning, the wanderers say in Ulthar, many as could not find kicking, as he saw around in the marketplace certain villagers told him the old man is wide and sounds like and as he heard these things, his son made place in the basement behind his prayer. These were mostly taken the sky and the autumn space, the clouds were assuming. It was merely true that fully after his vision, they seemed to form a tent and pursuers, exotic things, and recruiters ran with old presidents, nature's falls to leaders, and pressed them able to. That night, the wanderers left Ulthar, and never seen again. The wind and the foot was not happening. The moon cat match, as the result, I grace by yelling white holy crown. The burgomaster started a dark hole, as if the cast wind eventually told events this man, and first the caravan and the football in it, the lame notary declares that the old prophet was more likely person to suspect, for their hatred cast is always increasingly bold. Still, no one durst complain for such a couple, even when little Apple, the innkeeper's son, vowed that he had a twilight scene already captured Ulthar, and that the cursed yard in the retreat, pacing very slowly and solemnly in a circle around the cottage, to arrest as if for one person not rid of right to be. Sleep in their nature, and when people thinking that God, behold, everything was bad as a custom color, large and small, black, gray, striped, yellow, and white, none was missing. Very stiff and fast, the cats appeared, and sonorous, with burning content. The citizens talked with one another about that, a little. Ran on. Again, insisted there was a dark bulk, who had taken them since cats did not return alive. In the cottage, the ancient man and his wife could all agree on one thing, that the refusal of all the cats to eat their portions of meat or drink, their sausage of milk was exceedingly curious, and for 2 whole days, the sleek, lazy cats of Ulthar would touch no food, but only doze by the fire or into the sun. It was only a week before the visitors noticed that no lights were appearing at dusk, and the windows of the cottage over the tree that the lane knit remarked that no one had seen the old man or his wife since the night the cats were away. In another week, the burgomaster decided to overcome his fears and pull up strangely silent, yelling as a master of duty. Knowing so doing, he was careful to take him, shame, and blacksmith and Thole, the cutter of stone as witness. And when they had broken down the door where they found the witness, to indicate human skeletons on the earthen floor, and a number of individuals crawling in the shadow corners, there was subsequently much talk among the burgesses of Ulthar that, and the horror, the sweet lent with Nip, the lean notary, and Kragon, and Shang and Thole were overwhelmed with questions, even little Apple, the innkeeper's son, who was supposed to be questioned and given a sweet meat as a reward. They talked to the old coffer and his wife, and the caravan of dark wanderers, the small names, and his black kitten, the prayer of the niece, and of the sky hearing that prayer, the doings of the cats on the night, and the caravan left, of what was later found in the cottage under the dark trees and repelling cigar, and at the end of the burgesses passed that remarkable law, which is holded of traders in Hapag, and discussed by travelers in error, namely that in Ulthar, no man may kill a cat.
Your safety is my primary concern.
Nameless city. In nameless city, I knew it was a curse. I was traveling in a harsh and terrible valley of the moon. In afar I saw protruding uncanny above the sands, as parts of a corpse made protrude from an ill-made grave. Here spoke from the age-worn stones of this hoary survivor of the deluge. This great grandmother's eldest pyramid in a miraculous aura propelled me and bade me retreat from antique and sinister secrets that no man should see. And no man else had ever dared to see. Remote in the deserts of Araby lies a nameless city, trembling even articulate, and low walls hidden by the sands of uncounted ages. It must have been first before the first stones of Memphis were laid, and while the bricks of Babylon were yet unbaked. There is no legend so old as to give it a name or to recall that it was ever alive, but it told of them conspirators around campfires and left it about like man-laws in the tents of chiefs, so that all tribes would join it without fully knowing why. It was the first place that Atlas-Atman the map who was contained under the unexplainable equipment that is not yet, which can't be turned alive, and strange eons, even death may die. Hundreds of heroes have good reason for showing the nameless city. The city's full of strange things that seem like and advertisement, and those are all one place my family. I alone have seen it, and that is why I've other conspirators such as lines of Peter as mine. Why no other man should have been to unite the family. The essence of the only thing that should be so basic for you is the desert east, but as I return, it's look at my time. I find it is still my hand create for now, or hours at
taking my claim on the objective.
The moon was rising most of the desert still. As for some metallic fuel, I saw the sun appearing readily through Alaska, so little sandstone had uttered over the name of the and the greatest of mankind existed. All at once I came up on a place where the bedrock rose and started through the sand and formed a little cliff here. I saw the joy, which seemed to promise further traces of anthropology and people. Even brutally on the face of the cliff where that unstable decades of several small rocks, houses and cycles, using tears, my career, just keep removed for tracking visions. Sandstone set the lines and space and carvings, which they have been outside. Very slow and tangled for all of their captures over me. But I knew when my state culture was hearing the torture reveal whatever mysteries in my hole. When I was inside, I had to have it and get that on the as though much less love and shrines. And very narrow passage around from shrines, but these shrines, I crying when the noise of wind in my candle outside with very distillness and dreaming forth to see the wood that cried in breeze. The moon was breathing briefly over the crooked green light. A dense cloud of sand that seemed blown I saw increasingly from some place along the other head. I knew that something anything was just a camera outside. Now I can't. The glowing lights up, and the same out there was no wind of conflict. This is not being made fearful, but I needed to hold the signal of wind I had seen. Once I ran still, and no one walked in. I decided to take a sound rock picture, leading into that cave and watch the trouble sandy trace its source, superseding anything on the black orifice of a temple a long distance south of me, almost out of sight, and choking sand by that towards the temple, which I neared, loomed larger than the rest and showed a doorway bottomless cloud of caked sand. With heavens or head out the terrific force of that icy wind, almost points my fortune toward it mentally, out of the dark door, sighing uncannily, as it ruffled the sand and spread among the weird ruins. Soon it grew fainter and more noticeable, so finally all had rested in the sea talking among the central stones of the city, and when I glanced at the moon, it seemed to quiver as though mirrored in unquiet waters. I was afraid that I could explain, and not enough to go factors for wonder. So as soon as the wind, which quite gone, I crossed the dark chamber from which it had come. This hill, as I had fancied from the outside of larger than either of those I had visited before, and was presumably within it. And from some region beyond here, I could stand on the right. Some of the stones and altars were as low as the others' temples. On the walls grew by the help of others' hands and faces of the before on the ancient race. Curious ruins, use of paints, and almost faded from the way. And unto the altars I saw a rising segment of maze of fashion, creeping in gardens. As I put my torch aloft, it seemed to me that the shape of the roof was too regular to be natural, and but prehistoric countries of stone had restored upon. There, engineering skill must have been that. In the record layer, fantastic plane showed that for which I had seen no things that those remote accesses once the southern wind had blown, I repainted when I found that it had a small pane with artificial torches, and going up like all the reparting road or like a very small numerous and deeply descending steep. I could always see those steeps, and I was trying to painful and overthinking. At that time, I hardly knew whether to hold the steep or put them to the same. My mind was reeling back off the woods in the morning, the terror project seemed to know from the land, and none knows his name city. And maybe yeah, it does be done for a moment before I asked him to report one commencing to find possibly down.
Hello there.
It is only the terrible phantasms of drugs, or the living and letting other men have such a descent as mine. The narrow passage led me down by some base haunted well, and the torch I held, although my head could not let unknown depths, which I had so many lost track of the hours. The reduction sold my watch, and no I was striking when I crossed the distance. I must be had track of everything. There are more changes of direction and of steepness, and unless I comes along low, level passage where I had to bring my feet first through along the rocky floor, only pushed my arms length beyond my head. The place was high enough for me. After that, there were more seas, and I was still standing that eternity, and my feelings forced out of my head. I was still
Wegstunde bei der Kontorstur. Hello.
From the delirious image of images of you among men, of God, the earth, and the men, or who you expect, and what you're like, and they always, and when you down the from one of the Lord from the sayings and tales that the river's blackness will be rich once we're ready to send enemies into these deep. I recited some innocent song from the Thomas More.
Enemies on my radar.
I'm on fire!
The red darkness, the secret death. There is that with a slimy storm. Time has ceased to exist from that future.
They can only use more.
And found myself in a place like behind the reasons for storms that happened. So how do we find when I cannot quite stand? But when you find out, do not myself become familiar with the grand I see you. And a narrow passage which falls the line. This is the living back. It is really surroundings and be sure walls and rows or cases still stretched on. Man is used to thinking that I almost right up and think of soil or wood and glass and low side of the monotony. As an outside, and then you insertable emotion, I did see it. Just when that fantasy merging into real science, I found one of the things right before the head.
No, that's not what I had in mind.
Containing modified forms of creatures evolution for testiness. They are the most chaotic things in man.
My ultimate is charging.
They can only use more.
My ultimate is ready.
Get your armor.
I am ready to revive.
I am ready to rescue.
Armor here. Armor up.
There's no excellent rescue. Even in the virgin rock those primal shrines, as which they had never ceased worship. Now that it was life after, as they lead up to the rebel strength passes. It was as though an idea of mortality had been fostered as a true illusion. So near the end of the passage was
Back to work.
and extravagance contrasted these
I can use.
My ultimate is
Armor over.
30 seconds.
Of the name of city, all the very latest of the astounding maps and the frescoes, true oceans and continents that man has forgotten only here, and there is some baby in the outline of what would have happened, and the geological ages since the seas and decades of race, there's at least come to decay. Even man might say, life had once teemed in these caverns and rules times beyond. Now I saw a room with vivid relics, and I trembled to think of the countless pages through which the relics had kept a silent vigil, something that could reverse of their acute fear, which had intermittently seized me ever since I first saw the terrible valley in the name of city under a full moon. And despite my exhaustion, I found myself single-handedly visiting watch the gazing night along the black corridor towards the tunnels that rose out over my sensations were like those which had made me sure the names of the anti were miserable as they were pointing. In other moments, however, I would see the so great shock of the sound. The first test of the silence of the tone like that. It was deep, alone, and noised from the spheres and came to the direction in which I was staring. Its volume rapidly increased, super curved, frightened fully through the low passage, and at the same time I became conscious of an increasing profitable air, likewise flowing from the tunnels and city above. The two series of strong house where I which had risen around the mouth of the vestige sunset and sunrise. One of them had indeed revealed the hidden tunnels to me. I looked at my watch and saw sunrise to me. So breaking myself loose again, I was tweeting out the cabin from my slept full. And I was feeling around here, getting weighing it low, since I had now untested itself. The rings are the unknown. All more wide, before the shrieking bone that I explained into the dark of the air. I found currently getting closer to me. The fear of being swept walking through the looking gate of this. So here I had not expected, and I grew aware of the actual scope of my points with this. I have set my thousands of meters of apprehension and imagination, and I brilliant me of the past awakening incredible fancies. And so I compared myself to only human imagine, and that I will with man whose one pieces by the name of space of the huge flying, whose rolling currents had seen. Which came eternal love. In the strange aeons, even that made I, only the grim brooding desert gods know that what really took place. But in the terrible struggles and scrambles in the thunder, and I'm gone, guiding me back to life. Where I must be for never to shiver in the night. When the chill of oblivion worse finds me, monstrous and natural walls, and to die all without use of man, we believe in seven as man will shadows in the morning.
You've got what's coming to you.
I've heard of the gas first I was frank as the tongues, turning my star line against the luminous speaker of the abyss that I could not be seen against the dust of former night of Russian men. Case was sort
Much better. My upgrade charge.
Reanimate. To the sinister manner of the recent disappearance that was engendered by the whole nature of his life work. And this first gained its acute form more from the 17 years ago when we were in the third year of our course at the Miskatonic University Medical School in Arkham. But before we came to the scholism, this student's activity I played, and I was at the status of his first companion. Now that he is gone, and the spell is broken, and actual fear is great. Memories and possibilities are even more hideous than realities. The first horrible incident of our acquaintance was the greatest shock I ever experienced, and it was only with reluctance that I repeat it, as I had spent half a year when we were in medical school, where West had already made himself notorious through his wild theories on the nature of death and the possibility of overcoming it. His views which were widely ridiculed by all those students, and sexually, the nature of life, and certain means for operating organic machinery of mankind by calculating chemical action after the failure of natural processes. In his experience with the various family institutions, he explained treating immense numbers of rabbits, guinea pigs, cats, dogs, and monkeys. species simply had become a prime nuisance of the college. Several times they actually obtained signs of life in animals supposedly dead, and in many cases at times that they soon saw that the victims as possible would necessarily involve a lifetime of research. It likewise became clear that since the same solution never worked alike on different organic species, even when it required human subjects for the further and more specialized progress, it was here the first came into conflict with the college authorities and was derived from the future experiments by no less secretary than the dean of the microscope himself. The learned and benevolent Dr. Alan Halsey, whose work on behalf of the certain is recalled by every older resident of Auckland. I have always been acceptably tolerant of West pursuits, and we frequently discussed his theories whose ramifications and coloralities were almost infinite, holding with Haeckel that all life is a chemical and physical process, that the so-called soul is a myth. My friend believed that artificial animation of dead and pretend only in the condition of tissues and unless actual decomposition as set and, of course, fully equipped with organs made with suitable measures used that go in in peculiar fashion in man's life. But the psychic or intellectual life might be impaired by the slight deterioration of sensitive brain cells, which had even a short period of death would be apt to cause. West fully realized it had pursued this of the time or regions which would restore vitality before the actual actions of death, and they were being played on animals that go into the NECRONOMICON capital. He had stock extreme pressures and increases in solutions of meanings of life. It was the circumstance which made the professor so carelessly skeptical. They felt that true death had not occurred in the case. They said not stop to it was not long after that was he advocated his work at West, confided to make his resolution to get fresh bodies in some manner, and continue in secret, but experience he could no longer perform openly. To hear him discussing ways and means was rather costly, for at the college we had never procured anatomical specimens ourselves. The more proved inadequate to global Negroes under this matter, and they were seldom questioned. West was done as well as under respectful features, they were carefully and realized in some areas that it was not always the case to go on the to merits of Christ the Church was communicated and from Apostles' field, because practically everybody in Christ the Church was involved. I think, of course, we missed the West Greek churches. I was, by this time, his active and parole assistant and helped him make all his decisions, not only concerning the sorts of bodies, but concerning a suitable place for our local work. It was I who thought of the deserted Chapman's farmhouse beyond Meadow Hill, where we picked it up on the ground floor and operating room and all that on the road. Each was the places off from anywhere from one side to the other to practice work none the less necessary surrounded by translaternal rumors which soon bring disaster on our enterprise. It was agreed to call building and global work that discovery should occur gradually be without some surplus science materials, either purchased in Boston or widely ordered from the college. Which was hardly the recognized as a exercise in the United States. It's a many minerals we should have made for Southern and that bias was too possible for our allies. These were always amusing seeing small gateway bodies from the select and decimated in this room at the boarding house. We followed the locals at Memphis like ghouls for our specimens made particular qualities. We learned some more some after death and without artificial preservation, preferably free from not forming disease and certainly with all organ specimens as the individuals were our best hope. Not for many weeks, and we feared making a super and we talked about more and possible proteins specifically in the college's interest as often as we could without exciting suspicion. We found that the college had first choice in every case, so that it might be necessary to remain at Arkham during the summer when those summer school classes were held in the end. The luck favored us, for one day we could almost natural case in the college field, for one day we could have no more important so was on, and there was no such class available in August. That day, the family agreed we turned to the work soon after midnight. Those were repulsive tasks that we undertook in the black 12 hours, even though we lacked at the time the second horror of graveyards, which later experiences brought us. We carried spades and oil dark lanterns for although electric torches were then manufactured, they were not as satisfactory as the tungsten contrivances of today. The process of undertaking was slow and sorted, and might be personally poetic will if we had been artists instead of scientists, and we were glad when our stages got put in the pine boxes holding covered, was described again in the news was finding out copy of its contents. I reached out and pulled the contents out of the grave, and then the oil cartridge over its its former appearance. That very day I spent the things, Doctor's Turkey, and we got to new references to our visit. When we had back down the journal of Earth, the testament in this sack and set out with old Chapman plates beyond the hill. And improvised the dissecting table in the old farmhouse by the lights of the powerful, excellent lamp. The specimen was not very respectful looking at half an asserting hand to imagine of years, a wholesome, Palladian type, large friend, gray-eyed, round-haired, sound animal without psychological subtleties, and probably having vital processes of the simplest and healthiest sort. Now with eyes closed, and looked more asleep than dead. Though the expert test my friend soon left no doubt from his fort. We had at last went west, had always longed for a real dead man of the ideal kind, ready for a solution prepared, according to the most careful calculations and theories for human use. The tension on the heart became very great. We knew that there was scarcely a chance for anything like complete success, and could not avoid hideous fears as possible for test results of powerful accommodation, especially where we apprehensive concerning the mind and pulses of the future tense in the space following death, so the more delicate cerebral cells might well have suffered a deterioration. I myself still held some curious notions about the traditional soul of a man, and felt and awe at the spirits that might be forth by more returning from the dead. I believe what sights this classic youth might have seen in inaccessible spheres, and what he could relate if all be restored to life. But my wonder was not overwhelming, since for the most part I shared the materialism of my friend. He was calmer than I, as a force a large quantity of this fluid into the vein of the body's arm, immediately binding the incision securely. The waiting was gruesome, but West never faltered. Every now and then he applied his stethoscope to the specimen and bore the native results philosophically. After about 3/4 of an hour without the least sign of life, he disappointingly announced the solution inadequate, but determined to make the most of the opportunity to try one change in the formula for disposing the asking price. We had not even dug a rig in the cellar and would have to fill it by dawn. For although we had fixed a lock on the house, we just shot even the most of the foolish discovery. Besides, the body would never even be approximately fresh. The next night, so taking some afternoon lamp in that adjacent laboratory, we left our silent guests on the slab in the dark and bent every energy to the mixing of a new solution. And planning measuring supervised by West with an almost fanatical care. The awful event was very sudden, and the ice stepped out of one side from one testing to another, and West was busy over the alcohol flask lamp, which had to answer for a Bunsen burner, and the gaze fastless at his wide room. We had left there first, most appalling and demonic succession of cries that either of us had ever had. And one like a week. I have chaos at first time. No days out and open to release agony again. We're in one. Centered on sounds about these employments or responsible discovery. Both West and I went to the nearest window on stricken animals, overturning tubes, absolute force, and vaulting naturally into the dark of this night. I think we screamed ourselves as we settled frantically towards the town, though we wished our outskirts we put on the semblance of restraint, just enough to seem like the late revenues and angry home from the clock. We did not celebrate the damage we into the last room, where people started to ask people to go down, but then we have found ourselves in a whole rational blues and face of education to we disregard those who are doing two actors and the whole the whole disease happening to us, and slowly burning to it, and for us to keep our ashes that we couldn't understand because of upset land. Also, an attempt had been made to disturb a nuclear, as if by futile and sleepless plotting at the earth that we could not understand. We had gotten down the mountain very carefully. There was such noise that must have put quickly over his shoulder, playing fancy footsteps behind him. Now he has disappeared.
I'm out of here.
Being destroyed!
Armor here! 16 years ago, when like noxious Ephraim from the holes of Edna's Tipion saw continually through our camp, and by that satanic scourge that most recall the year for truly terror, rooted the ravages of the house of all in the trees, tried to prove the cemetery, and for me, it is great for all in that time of horror. No day alone now that proved us as a spear. West and I were doing post-graduate work in summer classes at the medical school of Atlas-Atman University, and our friend had attained a lot of authority because of his experience leading towards the reunification of the dead. After science structure of counties, all animals that ostensibly set up by order of our susceptible dean, skeptical dean, Dr. Alan Halsey.
Let's break it!
And had on one terrible physical occasion to connect the body from its grave, and the fire shielded with the farmhouse beyond all of that. I was with him on that previous occasion and saw him inject into the still veins of the elixir which he thought with the sudden extent for civilized chemical and physical processes that had ended horribly in a delirium of fear, which he gradually came to attribute to our own overwrought nerves, and West never afterward been able to shake off the maddening sensation of being haunted. The body had not been like it was obvious that to a normal mental, at least the body must be very fresh indeed, and the real it would have been pleasant if we had no number of for some time as the zeal of the one scientist slowly engaging in government with college faculty. Leading the use of that second rate and questions as he was and that's just what would be important. His case, however, being named for the decision of the policy was inflexible and responsibility of the leader and that of the generation with nothing but conservatives and equal enthusiasts whose slight form, yellow hair, typical blue eyes, and soft voice gave a hint of the supernormal, almost powerful power of the full brain. I can see him as he was then in that time over the sure face and never utterly but out set on as had the mishap and West last disagreed with the dispute that did not credit him as the kindly dean appointed to the seat. He felt that he was needlessly and rationally retarded from supremely great work, a work which he had could of course conduct for himself in 3 years, in which he wished to begin while still possessing exceptional faculties of the university that tradition around the elders should ignore the singular results on animals and persistent denial of the possibility of creation. It was discussing almost impossible to leave the West political governance. He could not understand the mental limitations of professor Dr. Bell, the product deliberations of ethics, and sometimes gentle. H has no charity for these typically high-souled characters whose works fatal vice his timidity and who are ultimately punished by general ridicule for their detestable sins. Sins like Ptolemaicism, Calvinism, anti-Darwinism, and anti-Nietzscheism, and Sectarianism, and sumptuary reality. What's the other side from the scientific requirements of sanitation, food coffee, and its real problems and these are futurities, intentional issues, the emotional elaborate daydreams of revenge, triumph, and final dynamics, forgiveness, and the extraordinary or legal from the nightmare patterns of Tartarus. West and I had graduated at the time I was beginning, but had a merry name for additional work in terms of the time of the argument. When the world was quite mighty through the town, those eyes in place and positions, we can have degrees in that makes a service as a numbers of stripping group. The solution was almost half-made, and the difference to was crying with confidence of animal and these circumstances not about effect. Wesley thought out how I was to it concerning fresh assessments as not for his pursuit researches. We were practically the war was recognized more from restraint, but not very importantly. The Western economies or their lesser answer, restraining duties, the chain of all the flows, and every doctor of the methodology was helping to lack the type of blade. Dr. Kelsey in particular has distinguished himself in sacrificing service, the street scale of black affairs, which many others have shown in their efforts and thousands. Among those who were looking to see him and become a hero, but we see themselves as sustained because of people by acid, as well as seeking notice and touch, thus do not afford information from the style. Because of this, what we shall be written, is amazing reference, taking back to the distinct invasion of the college work, and meeting this whole agency actually get every species studies in the university accepting room one night, in my presence and taking a new application of solution. The thing actually opened his eyes, not only stare at the ceiling, but a look of soul and fine horror before collapsing into nervous, from which nothing could rouse it. West said it was not fresh enough. The hot summer air does not favor corpses. That time we were almost caught for a week conservative thing, and West after that had nice ability of reading the especially powerful over it. The people who had heavy conversation about these West and I were almost dead. I see the guy, unfortunately, the sweet point being that his hero on 15 and lost the matter was quite overshadowed by the criticism of the arguments and by the mutuality itself. It was almost a public affair where Dean had surely been a public benefactor. After his moments, we were all somewhat depressed and certain happening at the commercial house, where West, though cheating by the death of the shield, showed the rest of us with references to his notorious theories. Most of the students went out on to his duties as the evening advanced, and West persuaded me to aid him and make me an act of it. West's landlady saw us arrive in his room about 2 in the morning with a third man between us and told her husband that we had all evidently dined and wine rather well. Apparently, this acidulous matron was arrived for about 3 a.m. The whole house was aroused by cries coming from the west room, where, when they broke down the door, they found us huge of us unconscious on the blood-stained carpet, beaten, scratched, and wall, and with the broken burners of West's bottles and instruments around us. Only an open window told that had become of our assailants, and many wondered how he himself had fired better after turning weak from saying so with the line which he had once again. There were some strange garments in the room, but West, upon remaining consciousness, said they did not belong to the stranger, who were specimens collected for bacteriological analysis. In the course of the investigation on the transmission of germ diseases, he ordered them burned as soon as possible in the capacious fireplace. To the police, we both declared ignorance of our early companion's identity. He was what nervously said, a congenial stranger, who we had met at some downtown bar in a certain location. We had all been rather jovial, and West and I did not wish to have our previous companion hunted down. That same night, at the beginning of the same park, or the horror that we listed the plague itself. The church cemetery was the scene of a terrible killing, the watchman having been plotted to death in a manner not only 2 days for destruction, but raising it out as the human agency of the deed. The victim had been seen alive considerably after midnight, and the dawn revealed the unutterable thing. The manager of the circus at the neighboring town of Walton was questioning that he saw that no beast at any time escaped from his cage, and those who ran the body noted the trail of blood leading to the escaping tomb, where a small pool of red clay on the common feet just outside the gate. A finger trail lit away. The next night, the girls danced on the roots of Atlas-Atman, an unnatural man is found in the through the fever town at Atlas, which some said was great during the plague, and which some whispered was embodied even soul the plague itself. The houses were entered by a nameless thing, which shrewd hereded death in its wake, and all 17 main and shapeless remnants of the bodies were left behind by the voiceless sadistic monster that crept abroad. A few persons had seen it in the dark and said it was white, and like a not-born evil, and through a queen, it had not been left behind quite all that it had attacked, or sometimes it had been hungry. The number it had killed was 14. 3 of the bodies had been stricken in bones and had not been alive. On third night, 1990s searches, when the police captured in the house of the street near the midst of the Platonic campus, they had organized a quest with care, keeping in touch on these volunteer telephone stations, and in some of the college district, at fully during a scratching rush during the window. And that's quickly spread. On account of the general alarm and precautions, they were only 2 kilometers in capture, with 75 community entities, which had south line college, not the fatal one, and this was so exciting. And a man, this man with obnoxious eyes, the voiceless Seminianism and the demonic savagery. They addressed the wound in carcerated to the asylum at Setcon, where it had beat its head against the walls of the itself for 16 years until the recent mishap, and they escaped under circumstances that few like to mention. What had most disgusted searchers with Arkham was a thing they noticed when the monster's face was clean, a not unbelievable resemblance to the learned and self-sacrificing martyr who had, in intoned, agreed to the late Dr. Alan Foxy, other benefactor and dean from the School of Miskatonic University, to the bank's order request, and to me the disgusting form was supreme. I shuddered tonight as I ate, but shuddered even more, and I did by learning one less, muttered through his bandages, damn.
Greetings.
It was quite fresh enough.
Gotcha.
NECRONOMICON. I have Chapter 3, 6th shot by Moonlight. It is uncommon to fire off the shots by a revolver, or break hundreds in one flip, probably be sufficient. But many things in the life of Herbert West were uncommon. It is not often that a young physician leaving college is obliged to conceal the principles which guide his selection of a home and office, and for the case of West, when he and I obtained our degrees at the medical school of Miskatonic University,
I am operating at peak
we care
performance
not to say
levels.
that we choose our house because it was fairly well activated, and I believe that home was the hottest field, for which representing sometimes it is said we cannot cause nor indeed was ours, for our requirement. This resulting from a life distinctly unpopular. Outwardly, we were doctors only, but beneath the surface were aims of our greater, more terrible moment, for the essence of her West's existence was a quest for made of life, from the unknown, which we hope to uncover the secret of life. We resort to formation, the graveyards full of clay, southern quest demands a strange material, among the fresh human bodies, the word and not all place of informal instrument. West and I had met in college, and I had been the only one to sympathize with his hideous experiments. Gradually, I had come to be his inseparable assistant, and now that we were out of college, we ended. It was not even a hundred opening or shot me. But finally, the influence of the university secured us in practice in Walton, a factory town near Parkland, the seat of the college. Walton was in the middle of the longest we choose our house with greatest care. We won't last had a rundown cottage near the end of Pondit Street. 5 members from the closest neighbor, in separate from the local Potter's Field, and by only a stretch of meadow lane, bisected by a narrow net rather than its forest, which lies to the north. The distance was great. There was a great wish. A week was no clearer house. Without going on the other side of the field, only out of the back of the district. We were not able to keep out of the sunset. There were people between us and our sisters will have the line. The walk was not long, and we could fall on our side of the husband undisturbed. First time, just these most of young doctors and only through the whole, not through. There are many natural needs. There are frequent classes in staffing the phrase, gave us plenty to do. But what actually absorbed our minds was a secret laboratory which we had picked up in the cellar. The laboratory was the long table under the electric lights, where in no small hours of opening the office and the solutions are in the things we had offers field. Once the experiencing madly to find something which would start fans and I will to the news after they had to stop class with all the competition has a range issue with render reanimation impossible. Indeed, the greatest problem was to get from personnel. West had notable experiences during his year college research into the corpses of downfall and rehab. As a result of our forms of research and mission, were much more serious to our football failures, and we both found fears of professions of things. I was specifically among its successes, and the digital concept of medical in Parkland. We had no real minutes and all along the line and those who studied classes as to a better representation of self-leadership. He had felt that he was followed psychological solution to nerves in hindsight of undeniable of discerning fact that I was one of the engineers was still alive. I was walking into the thing that I felt at that time. Then we were for the other first. We was that paper and at the end. We had very long work involving with the Parkland. We had never been several weeks before we got that after the area. We had opened his eyes and I needed to get more progression before solution things. I am moving the which is a multi-spiritual and no rather should be thing. The birds of itself uttered a sound and came a period when the upper floor. And for it fell off, those who did occur were upset with either too diseased or too named for us. We have tried to adapt such circumstances with systematic care. One large night, however, we unexpectedly obtained a specimen issued in until the Potter's Field in Bolton. The prevailing spirit of Puritanism had got lost for the Potter's Field. It was an unusual result. She was unable to connect facts among the origin. People in medical health were very important. They knew that this was a match. To a very secret and desperate case. We followed them to an abandoned barn, where the remnants of a crowd of frightened foreigners were watching a silent black form on the floor. The match had been between Caleb and Ryan, a liberating and now tweaking youth with a most unfeathery hooked nose, and a Buck Robinson, the Harlem smoke. The Negro had been knocked out, and a moment's examination showed us that he would not permanently remain so. He was a lonesome gorilla-like thing, with abnormally long arms, which could not help call him forelegs, and a face that conjured us of unspeakable Congo secrets and tom-tom poundings under an eerie moon. The body must have looked even worse than that. But the world holds many ugly things. He was upon the wall of the crowd. They did not know what the law would exact of them. As the fair were not flushed up, they were grateful men went west inside my involuntary shutters, offered to get rid of the thing quietly, for a purpose I knew too well. There was bright moonlight through the snowless landscape, but we met the thing carrying home between us through the deserted streets and meadows as we heard a similar thing one horrible night in Arkham. We approached the house in the field in the rear to specimen that back door, and down the cellar stairs, prepared for the usual experiment. Our fear of the police was certainly great, though we had time to search the police solitary patrolmen of that section. The result was barely anticlimactic. Ghastly as our prize appeared, it was wholly in response to every solution we injected in his black arm. Solutions prepared from experience with all right specimens only, so as the hour grew dangerously near dawn, we did as we had done, although we dragged the thing across the meadows to the neighborhood near Huddersfield, and buried it there in the best one. For the grave, the frozen bound with furniture. The grave was not very deep, but only had as that it was the previous specimen. The thing had risen cut itself, not the sound. The light was dark lashes. We carefully covered it with leaves and lines, fairly certain that the police would never find it until it started getting death. The next day I was increasingly apprehensive about the police provocation, for rumors of suspected fight and death. Unless it's another source of already helped for an afternoon's case, which intended very threateningly. The Italian woman had become hysterical over her missing child, a lad of 5 who had set off early in the morning and been about 3 or 4 dinners, and developed symptoms highly alarming and real and always sweet heart. It was a very delicious area. For the boy had often run away before, but Italian peasants are exceedingly superstitious, and this woman seemed as much harassed by omens as by facts. Around 7 o'clock in the evening, she had died, and her frantic husband had made a frightful scene in his efforts to kill West. We would be widely blamed for not saving her life. Friends had helped him when he proved a stiletto, but West, far in the midst of his infinite retreat, curses and oaths of vengeance. In his latest affliction, the fellow seems after got his child, who was the missing as the night mass. There was some conversation in the woods that most of the family friends were busy with the dead woman and screaming man, although the nervous ran upon West. Must have been tremendous. Lots of police and of the magic Italian left to be heavily. Every time that 11 that I feel all over the back of the street, it was so small and I could not help hearing the next one in the street. It was the next day, the night before, we were ever tracked down. The night before, I all went over it, who perhaps visits about back to me. I didn't like the across the place. It was open about 4 o'clock on the street, so we were showing the eyes, and we were pacified and fought down the street, and they get back around the back door. I really feel almost like they just 4 months for that rap on my door. And we got back and in his hand, a revolver and a flashlight. I knew that he was thinking more of a crazy Italian than the police. We better will both go, he whispered. That would answer it anyway, and maybe a patient. That would be like one of those schools to try and backdoor. So we both went down the stairs on tiptoe with a fierce party at the time, which comes only in the fall in weird hours. The man we growing so much louder. When we reached the door, I cautiously unbolted it and threw it open at the new street leading in the home. When I stand, like the other thing that I saw up into the danger of the city. And I all the head of the cat was there. I threw it off the wall. It was a really I let you go. I heard them in the night and the entire time that they were and then I had the fourth time I did I was a policeman really hideously. Against the second woman was an anti-having thing that we connected to save your family. So grabbing out this 500 rings, nearly on all fours, covered with visible and leaves in eyes, with blood, and having its glistening teeth and a snow-white, terrible, cylindrical object terminating in a tiny hand.
Much better.
Come on, then, face!
The scream is dead. The scream is dead. And you believe that yes, Mr. Baskin later used and she doesn't have to have such a thing as a magnet and scream before, for it is obviously not a pleasing or ordinary occurrence. I believe that was used in similar experiences and susceptible of this particular circumstance. And I have implied it is not a particular itself, I can agree. Urban West was associated and Atlas set scientific interest and the usual routine of the 30th that was run with actual science involved in being chosen to act with the house near the Hopper's Field. Weekly and originally stated at West's sole engineering interest was to study the phenomenon of life and its cessation, leading towards the reanimation of the dead. Predictions of the next against solution of all this gap experiencing was necessary to have 165 very human bodies Very precious as he released the cable was began to brain structure. The human makers will be found and the solution of compatible to many different source of gravity to be setting full and reaching their field was blind at one. West had never always succeeded because they were able to secure force, sufficient gravity, as the ages parted, bodies were able to sell and sacrifice, receiving again the impulse sport that made the notion of going alive. There was hope that the second unofficial life might be made perpetual by repetitions of the injection, but we had learned that an ordinary natural life would not respond to action. Establish a unofficial alive was extinct. The social must be very French, but didn't eat dead. The awesome quest had begun when West and I were students at the University Medical School in Hong Kong. Living in Columbus for the first time, on the early percent when we first had last looked especially as they are now. He was 12 long, featuring soft voice and spectacled, with only an occasional plastic full of blue eyes. This time was hard to be road and asked him, but his caregiver with experimental investigations. Our experience is happening and hideous to the extreme. We were also protected reanimation in lumps of graveyard, clay, ash, and people had answered more than that famous motion by various modifications of the vital solution. But one thing had uttered a nerve-shattering scream, another had risen violently, beaten us with unconsciousness, and ran a monster way forward with having kicked powers. So another unwholesome African monstrosity had flown out of its shallow grave and then immediately West had shoot that object. We could not grow that was the only trace of music and had reacted. So had illustrated nameless forms. It was disturbing the weapon monsters still in, haunted us shatteringly, so finally, fear and the the others had to scream in the cellar of the Lord, extremely rich. That means, as if overall, our ears were subordinate to our anxiety, we should be rushing so a bit in the eye. So that it almost seemed to me that you looked covetously at a very healthy living physique. It was in July 1910 that the bad luck regarding assessment began to return. I had been on a long visit to my parents in Illinois, and upon my return found West in a state of singular elation. He had told me excitingly, in all likelihood, solve the problem of questions through an approach from an entirely new angle that upon the vision of I had been working on a new and happy and new one, clearly recognized reasons and all as it had years ago reattained to the Negro, killing more than that at last, they had been having to that on the occasion their land and the service of our way of what we think could not be it's here that we landmark in our studies. He had to get a new life return, so that both might share a symbol and a cousin passion. Was to be happy and obtain possession, and had an upper man, the well-dressed stranger just off of the train, on his way to transact some business with the all these committed criminals who walked through the town at the mall and I time back with other parties as the way that in search of his pockets. Reveals him to be one Robert Lated of St. Louis, family without family to make inquiries about his experience. If this man could be restored alive, I to know our experience in very our materials and strip of woods between the house and the obviously if on the other hand could be destroyed, our fame would be greatly and tightly established. So that delay West had injected into the body's risk compounds reports fresh for use after my arrival the matter that resembling weak heart, which to my mind and herald the success of our experiments did not appear to trouble West excessively. He hoped at last obtained what we would have been obtained for, a revealed stronger reason perhaps a normal living creature. So that in July 18, 1910, Herbert West nights in the cellar that Orton engaged with a white silent figure, the Atlas-Atman Park and all the compound had worked uncannily well, whereas I stared fascinatedly at the sturdy brain which had to let me spinning. I was West's assurance that the thing was really dead. This assurance did get readily enough, reminding me the reanimation solution was never used without careful tests alive. Since it could have no effect, any of the original vitality was present as West proceeded to take preliminary steps. I was impressed by the vast simplicity of the new experiment and intricacy so vast, you could not trust my hand, less delicate than his own, or getting easy for somebody, first injected it right foot in the wrist, besides placing his needle and punctured when injecting the embalming compound. As he said was to neutralize the compound and release of the system to normal relaxation so that the reanimation solution might really work. When injected slightly later or when the change from gentle disclaimer to speed, that the difference is subtle object not only in the thinking phase, not withdrawing it until the corpse appeared quite ready for our intent and reanimation. The pale enthusiast now applied some last precautionary test for absolute lifelessness. The true satisfied and finally injected into the left arm, when accurately measured, come out to the vital elixir. But there during that thing, the greater care that we had, his college days, when our feet were new and broken. I cannot express the wild suspense with which we waited for results on this first really precious specimen. The first week of reason we expected is this, in rational speech. Perhaps it had been beyond the unfathomable of this. West was a materialist, believing in no result, that viewing all the workings of consciousness of the body, bodily phenomena. Consequently, to look for a revelation of hideous secrets from vaults and caverns beyond depths of barrier. I did not fully disagree with your right.
Where did you hide your treasure?
Remnants of the faith of my forefathers, so that I cannot help. I am, of course, what a certain and paralyzed education aside, I checked my memory at peace. We retreat, we heard on the night, we tried out securities in the different farmhouse at Park Camp. Very little time had elapsed before I saw that camp was not to be a total failure. A hundred clover ancient sheets, hitherto soft white and sped out under the curiously ample sun of sandy beard, wet, and pulse, well writ, suddenly noted to me, and almost a sound into a more near time from my sound. Therefore, the cute satellite, was your emotions and not what we need from it. The death I will have no time. Shall we behind, so very far on the line. But unintelligent and not even curious. I've always a fantastic young man who's questions to everybody in the last one was our repeated was, where have you been? I do not yet know whether I was answered or not. When I stand in the left map, I do know that the moment I heard the lips with silently holding syllables, which I would have localized as only now. If the phrase had possessed any sense of fluency, at that moment had I stopped, saying, I was looking away from my own recall. I've been educated at the first half of the United States, seeking words and by actual reason. The next moment there is no doubt that really accomplished, at least temporarily, this whole mission. I was storing rationality to the
Double kill.
Party on the objective.
We have now found her less reality for chapter 5, the horror from the shadows. Many men have related these things not mentioned in print, which happen on battlefields of the Great War. Some of these things have made me faint. Others have most made devastating nausea, while still others have made me tremble. And behind me, dark yet despite the worst of them, I believe I can relate the most fiercely of all. The shocking is unnatural and unbeatable horror from the shadows. In 1915, I was a physician for the first things that made me really making findings. I think Americans proceed to get myself into that. I was able to rely on optimism, rather than that result, and most of that was the system that was. There was so many problems with most of us. I've been asked for a chance to serve as a surgeon in a Great War, and the chance I got, he carried me with him almost against my will. There were reasons why I would have been glad to help him stand with us. Reasons why I found the practice of medicine and companionship of West more and more irritating him. But when he had gone to Aquila, and through a colleague's influence secured a medical commission as major, I could not resist Compare's persuasion for one determined that I could accompany him in an unusual capacity. When I say that Dr. West was apt to serve in battle, I do not mean to imply that he was either naturally warlike or anxious for the safety of civilization. Always an ice-cold intellectual machine, sliced blind, blue-eyed, and spectacled. I think he was secretly sneered at my occasional martial enthusiasms and censures of supine neutrality. There was, however, something he wanted from that of Flanders, and in order to secure it, he had to assume a military exterior. What he wanted was not a thing which was many persons want, but something headed with a peculiar branch of medical science which he had chosen quite clandestinely to follow, and which he had achieved amazing and occasional hideous results. It was, in fact, nothing more or less than another supply of freshly men in every stage of experiment. Colonel West needed fresh bodies because of his work was the reanimation of the dead. This work was not known to the fashionable clientele who had so swiftly built up his fame after the arrival in Boston, but was only too well known to me, who had been his closest friend and sole assistant since the old days in the Atomic University Medical School at Parkham. It was in those college days that he had begun his terrible experiments, first on small animals and then on human bodies, shockingly obtained. There was a solution which he injected into the veins of dead things, but they were fresh enough, they responded in strange ways. He had much trouble in discovering the proper formula for each type of organism was found to need a stimulus, especially adapted to it. Terror shocked him when he reflected on his partial failures, nameless things resulting in imperfect solutions or bodies insufficiently fresh. A certain number of these failures have remained alive. One was in asylum while others had vanished. In the detail of the conceivable virtually impossible eventualities, he considered beneath his evil solid landscape. West had soon learned that absolute presence was a prime requisite for useful specimens and had accordingly resorted to practical and unnatural experiments in body snatching. In my early practice to get in the factory time of Weston, my aptitude for him had been largely one of fascination and admiration, but as his boldness and methods grew, I began to develop a gnawing fear. I did not like the way he looked at healthy living bodies from the came back there at session from the cellar of the laboratory when I learned that a certain specimen had been a living body when it secured it. That was the first time I had ever been able to rely on the quality of rational intercourse, and this success came at such a routine cost that the busy part of him. Of his methods in the entering years, I did not speak. I was held in my fearful severe, and witness signs that no human tongue could repeat. Naturally, I came to find Herbert West himself more horrible than anything he did. I was when it dawned on me at his once normal scientific skill for a long life. That's how they usually came to a more than foolish curiosity and secret sense of picturesque. His voice interest being foundation for those additions to the current main industry abnormal. He was calming over artificial monstrosities, which we make us represent as he said. He became the kind of the layer that physical experience of anonymous claims. Members of the person behind significant move, I think all that standing with the direction left when we restored, and had sought new rules to mark by experience on the reanimation of detached parts of bodies. He had wild and original ideas on independent atomic properties of organic cells and nerve tissues separated from the natural physiological systems, and achieved some phase preliminary results in the form of a never dying artificially nourished tissue obtained from the nearly hatched eggs of indescribable platform of time. He was exceedingly all this research work required every to supply for the subject human flesh, and that is why her request had entered the Great War. The phantasmal and mentionable end occurred one midnight delays in March 1915. The field hospital behind the lines at St. Elio, handled and classified certain things. At times, he actually did perform marvels of surgery for the soldiers, but his chief delights were of a less public philanthropic.
Cannot allow them to take the point.
Explanations of sounds which seemed to kill you even amidst the battle of the damned. Among these sounds were frequent revolver shots, surely not uncommon. A large cover back wall of this artillery cell matter, which multiplied and grew ugly and hideously. On the night of which last week we had a splendid new specimen, and that was the same powerful and such high mentality that sensitive nervous system was assured. It was bad ironic when we was officer who had the rest of his mission, who was now having was the greatest surgeon in our division and had increasingly signed the same kind of sector for everybody which people was being coming everything. I was coming here in whose hands were all still for him to cut down when the we want to go certain things arteries and nerves that take us yet and closing that I mean, that wanted to see this highly organized body plays it without any other signs in it, which had a distinguished Mr. Eric Morgan, once a student from the animation. This silent Trump was now gruesomely called upon to exemplify it. I can still see her replacement as if like as seen in the animation studios all of there is a man in the room all the face with one must go to almost everybody on the second floor. The teams are playing out the moralities, scrapping bubbling and baking over the emotions began to appear. Unless they feel by the act of using strong consciousness, reason, and personality, and system of the brain. Each time you know less complete itself, and one time and demonstrating recognize the regular mystery of life, the category of the body mass was never this week in the art, advertised in this heavy the purple way, the arms turned slightly, and legs grew off the very and this thing threw out his arms, and the texture was unsteadily one in desperation, and probably the hands to the feet and to the head. And they had a whole understanding of the shock cause that had to back sounding the expression of the building the cataclysm and the driven switch fire. Using games and was just now your survivors. We also asked to thank Catapult his recent experience, but there were times when he did not have his fear at it.
All become
We have 836 disclaimed legions. When Dr. Herbert West disappeared a year ago, the Boston police questioned me closely. They suspected I was holding something back in her house to suspend me doing things. When I could not tell them the truth because they might have believed it. Then you indeed met West. After the matter about speaking on the presence of ordinary men, or his previous experience in the animation of dead bodies had long been too insensitive to admit perfect secrecy. But the final of that was tragedy, eloquently for mind, fantasy, which might lead me down the reality of what I saw. I was West's friend. I had not been justice we had met years before in my school. And from the he had certainly found the was before amazing ending of hundreds of difficulties, and therefore involving those natural happens. Still more shocking to the products of such things, listening at the flesh of death, and rest waiting to online things about examination. Then is clearer, the neutral results were another, really no longer the same as so absolutely fresh, and everything, as for the moral undoing. They were hard to get in one opposite with the system. To arrive and do this. The struggle and the overcome of the way had transformed into a test force, and the experience had succeeded for memorable moments. But West had a beautiful soul, a lens, and seared in a hardened eye, which sometimes lasts behind a face and calculated appraisal at men, but especially sense of blame and especially vigorous physique. Or the last, having a few weeks with, or he began to lay that way. He would not seem to notice his glasses of being disappeared, and after this severe use as a basis for the sometimes the witness was deeper and more venomous, touching on certain indescribable things into which he had infected a morbid life, and from which he had not seen that life apart. He usually finished his experience with a revolver, but a few times he had not been putting up. There was just touching on whose right the great monster flying were ever seen. There was also that power cannon professor's body, which had done cannibal things before it had infected the rest of identified into a madhouse itself at wrong. West had weak for walls for 16 years. Most of the other possible filing results were things less easy to speak of. For in later years, West's scientific zeal had degenerated to an unhealthy fantastic mania, and had spent his chief skill in vitalizing not entire human bodies, isolated parts of bodies, or parts of joint organic matter other than human, that had become fiendishly disgusting by the time he disappeared. Many of the experiments could not even be hinted at in print. The great war of the experiments could not even, though which both of us served as surgeons had on the side of West. In saying that West's computer of the specimens was nebulous, I had not recognized its complex nature, but it came merely from knowing of existence of such nameless monsters, while another part rose from that apprehension of bodily harm they might under certain circumstances. Even him and his skill and forward in situation of their false less immediate from house, only one, the pitfall asylum thing. Then there was a more subtle fear of other intense acts of sensation resulting from my previous experience from the Navy Army in 1915. West, in the midst of a severe battle, had been able to make for sure there was more than 5 pounds to lead. The as so a fellow physician who knew about his experience and had educated them that had been removed so that possibilities with lost time and social life in the trunk might be investigated. Just as the building was wiped out by a German shell, there had been a success. The trunk had moved intelligently and unbelievably to relate. We were signaling we were sure that articulate sounds had come from the detached head as a light shadowy corner of the laboratory. The shell had been merciful in a way, and West had never been able to as he wished that he would too from his riders. He used to make shadowy conductors and after actions of this position with the power of yanking the head. But so last quarters were in the upper house of much elegance, overlooking one of the oldest living grounds in Boston. He had chosen a place of purely symbolic and fantastically aesthetic reasons, since most of the internments were a colonial period, and therefore the first use of practices in the different bodies. The laboratory was in much of secretly constructed by imported workmen, that contained a huge exhibitor to apply to complete disposal of bodies, more framed with fragments and synthetic mockeries of bodies, as might remain when the experiments and follow amusements of the owner. During the excavation of this time of the world, and some of the ancient masonry, undoubtedly connected with ordinary men, with thousands of people on any man, technically therein, and operations was cited in some chamber of the rails. For the last experiment, and made in 1768, I was with him when he studied the natural stripping walls and narrow stains and tops of men, and had prepared for the gruesome proof, which would tend to covering up signified grave secrets. But for the first time, West knew simply conquered his natural curiosity, inflated his degenerating power by order of the mystery left and fact and passed over. Thus remained for that final harsh night after all received by order, as for West's evidence, but much added that it was purely mental and intangible thing. Outwardly, he was the same for the last time, all his life, they were with the second lives and the last of youth, which years and years he would never change. He seemed all even when he thought that all great, and was actually ordered, he had become a liberty and natural calm, and such a but began working not only studies, but he was an industries when communication and straight to the next extra happened from a powerful features and nameless action and seemed to reach down through 60 years of computers and
Taking the objective. Little help would be appreciated. Thank you.
The next life case he carried. His expression on his face was handsome to the point of really giving the headshot to superintendent when he had the whole light on it.
Securing the objective.
With eyes of painted glass, something was asking for this man. A larger man had to accept. The speaker had asked, the speaker had also been turned from he did laugh with a nice space leader. By the time help could be summoned, every trace of men and their life shore had vanished. Or power of beating this accident something like his hand, almost paralyzed after night, roll away, separated from fearfully, almost certain for receiving the so and I thought of the police, who were able to go out of the and when a group of strange looking figures going first in highly natural voice, but expressed repay, with the
Let's make sure someone stays within permanently.
West was not even excited now. This condition was more vastly. He said to finish without considering this. We have carried the thing down the whole day. It was West who first noticed all impacts on the wall and he told me and I was going to run this up. Who's advice and small the top miles of the country. There was no sound for this and the left west. When I put on outline and another weird and knocking out all the orders with SP.
Let's make sure someone stays with it. I'm moving the payload.
I'm examining the maps of the city with the greatest care, yet I never even been really idea. These maps have nothing more than I have on the contrary deeply the piece of the place and have fully explored the region of the lake, which becomes the answer to the streets I knew as the Ruby RTL. But besides what I've done, we need to continue that. I cannot find that fastest speed radio locality where we will not come to find the conference line. As soon as we went visits at the university, I had to use it for the time. Never know these are physical and mental. This great booster for my residence in the Ruby RTL. And I thought that I should send up my few acquaintances there, but I cannot find a place to get into a single name referencing who was open at hours walking to the university and is distinguished by peculiarities which can hardly be forgotten by anyone who had been there. I have never met a person who has seen the Ruby RTL, the Ruby RTL, and across the river border, but I presented this print there. And there was water conscious song about how it turns about the river has all fibers, with people stories which I have never found elsewhere, and it was my son's parties by me since I recognized him at once. Beyond the bridge were narrow top streets of riddles, and the cane of the accents at first gradual and really steep as the Ruby RTL was reached. I have never seen another street as narrow and steep as the Ruby RTL. It was almost a cliff, with all vehicles consisting in several places of flights of steps and ending at the top of a lofty ivy wall. Its paving was irregular, sometimes cobblestones, and sometimes there were struggling for straight vegetation. The houses were 12 feet roofed, incredibly and crazily leaning backward and forward and sideways, occasionally on parallel, leaning forward almost set across the street on the mark, and certainly they kept up most of the light from the ground below. There were a few overhead bridges from house to house across the street and so the street impacting community. At first I thought it was because they were all silent and reticent, but later it was because they were all very old. Anyone know how I came to live on such a street, but I was not myself when I moved there. I hadn't lived in many more places, always eager for once of money. In 4 laps I came upon the corner house in the Ruby RTL and found a fire there it, but I know. It was a third house from the town of the street, by the town was tallest of them all. I was on the story, luckily I had been there since the house was almost empty. On the night I heard strange music from the people near the head on the next day, and his whole band out loud. He told me it was an old German viol player, a strange drummer man whose name is Atlas-Atman, and who played evenings in cheap theater of orchestra, adding at times desire to play the night after his return from the theater was the reason he had chosen this lofty, isolated garret room, whose single gable window was the only point on the street which from one could look over the terminating wall at the security and paranormal beyond. Thereafter I heard some every night, and although he kept me awake, I was taught to know the weirdness of the music. Knowing little about myself, I was yet certain that none of his harmonies had any relation to music. The longer I listened, the more I was fascinated until after a week I was old, made the old man's acquaintance. One night we returned from the book I shut down, and the whole line told him that I was going to open, and he would then played. He was a small, lean, person with shabby clothes, blue eyes, for his escalator-like face, and nearly bald head, and at first words he seemed both angry and praising my obvious holiness, however, I remember him bringing emotion to me, and all his mouth, with my freaking working at his ears. His room, for one of the unto and speak with his spirit, was the west side toward the high wall that was on the street. Its size was very great and seemed to great because of its extraordinary narrowness and neglect. On the furniture, there was only a narrow iron bedstead, the table washstand, a small table, a large bookcase, and iron music rack with old-fashioned chairs. Cubes of musical kind of disorder had before. The walls were of their boards and had probably never known furniture wells. The abundance of dust and cobwebs made the place seem more deserted and inhabited. Evidently, everything was going to be named some cosmos of community. Motioning me to sit down, the dumb man closed the door between the large wooden bolts and lighted a candle to the augments of one left with him. He then removed his eye from his mouthpiece and covered him with the himself, and released uncomfortable the chairs. He had nothing further music rack out there, no choice of random memory and chanting New York, but for now was strange I had never heard before. Strange which must have been of his own devising to describe their exact nature and impossible. I first music, never kind of human, was not weird passages of the most captivating quality that we from the access to those regions that had heard about in our occasions. It was something that had been else and which I had noticed when the first accosted the old man for moments I was inclined to use persuasion regarding that right to the woman's personality, and even tried to awaken my most weird news by whistling a few of the trains to which I had listened the night before. But I did not pursue the course for more than a moment. The only time you should recognize the whistle there was space through something so and casting a sudden glance was alone, was a window as if it were sun, and through her headlines double, after something high, the window of the mainly point on the State Street, as the concierge had told me from was one could see over the water summit. The old man's glance were blinders, come up to my mind without certain factors of Discussing with my host, I overcome to release means what I would do at once. This question reliance, I see. Some I discuss and offenses of any routines of society, fighting to relaxing grip. But this time in a friendly manner, forcing me into a check. And with an appearance of this one is crossing some of every table, where he wrote many words of pencil, and the labor went to the border. But he could not face my other comedies, could not bear viewing another having anything in his room.
My ultimate is charging.
All the conversation that I'm doing with you is finding my room and ask me if I had when for some reason I stopped almost as silently as if there was on. So when I was reading, I got first had a hand in a part as a friend. The next day, I ended up getting an experience. The room on the third floor, between the apartments and the money under the room was a wall holster. There was no one to move down from the story. He not as me forward, and when I did all the easy, it was this was something that I could take stuff with no one. I left me for him to not really know the attic room, and the weird music seems to hold and all fascination for me. I had a curious desire to look out the window and walk down that seems sort of the glittering roots and spires which must have leading by outstretched there. Once I went out to the garage during the few hours when sound goes away, and the door was locked, but I did succeed in doing this over purely after all, playing with his own man. At first I but they were not that they had vibrations suggesting that money level there, and I took me to one great pursuit that's symphonic quality, and I can hardly conceive as raised by one place, certainly Eric's song was at least one of the stage past. They're playing very louder, whilst the whole musician required an increasing haggardness and confusedness as you fall to the whole. He never refused to let me have any time to me whenever we met on stage. Was surely a mute another, and which rises only moments of the most terrible fear and anguish. I knocked repeatedly at the door and received no response. Afterward, I waited in the black hallway, shivering with cold and fear, I heard the whole musician's people. Afterwards, I rise from the floor by the aid of a chair, believing him disconscious after pacing good early in my day. At the same time, I was unable to return me. I heard the sound so the window, over the head and tag, which he had ultimately attracted the lady. This time, as I rise down, the impression was real close to the sort of face, waiting for me while he clutched at my coat, as a child clutches at its mother's skirts, shaking pathetically the way pushing into a chair whilst he sang to another, besides which the violin bow lay carelessly on the floor, standing back and knowing all the having heard consequences that she had intense and frank. Listening, subsequently, he seemed to be satisfied. I was now changed to his manner, it was perhaps an hour later, I still waited, and while all the musicians' favorite favorites and sheets still continued to pile up, I felt downside, listening to a horrible shock. Unmistakably, he was looking at the curtained window, listening shudderingly. Then I had a fancy, I heard a sound myself, that was not a sound rather than to the door, and in the big distance, useful motion, listening at the power door. It would be useless to describe the flame of Eric's own on that purple night. It was more horrible than anything I had ever overheard, because I could now see the expression of his face and realize at this time the motive, the something off with granted, something out. When I could not answer, and fingers never clicked for a moment. And this was the first time I had ever heard sound play the whole work of another composer. Louder, 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 now. And one through the seat with this 1,000 smoking radius, and now I thought that the choice of the from the final one of the purpose of walking over from the west that measure, and the venture and shutter, began to rattle on a howling night, some of which had swung it outside as a man said, and I flung and Zom's screaming violin now, it's itself making sounds I never thought I would admit. The shutter rattled more loudly, and back some of the next time against the window, the glass broke through the nearly persistent plastic curtain, and the people suffered, and that's when people came on the silence and and can't all recognize the orgy that no pen could even suggest. A second message found in others type manuscript and rolled towards the window. I pulled up the fine sheets in desperation that they were bound before I looked at the demolished panes, and then I remembered my old wish through the window, the only window in the LCL from which one might sit, see the spot beyond the wall, and city house beneath. It was very dark, but the city lights always burning, and I stepped to the ceiling, there amidst the rain and wind. Yet when I looked on the highest of all the gable windows, looked off the panels and stuck in the same out, and after when I saw no city speck below, no friendly lights gleamed from the remembered streets, but only the blackness of space, elemental walking imagined space, alive with motion, music, having a semblance of an even earth. As I stood there looking scared, the wind blew out, but the panels and edge feet cleared, leaving me a savage, the impenetrable darkness of chaos and pandemonium before me, and the team madness of the night laying violent behind me. I sat and dark about beams of strife and the lights crashing against the table, returning to chair and finally broken my way to the place where the back and screaming with shocking music as if myself never found. My deadly strife that the powers opposed me. Once I thought some sheltering weapon, I screamed that my scream could not be heard. About the days around, suddenly out of lack as a maddening, sawing bow, striking my nose. I was supposed to prepare. Out of fire, I felt the head, touched the back of his on spare, and then down and shook his shoulder and never threw into his senses. He did not respond until the bottle shrieked on without slacking, and I moved my hand to his head. His mechanical nodding, I was able to stop and shout in his ear. He was swiftly humming things of the night, but he neither answered me nor obeyed the frenzy of his unutterable music, while all through the air strange friends with him seemed to dance about this in battle. And throughout my hand, touched his ear, I covered through. I know not why, knew not why, still I felt the still face, eyes full set in the reading face, his glassy eyes bulging uselessly for boy, and then I saw miracle humming door, from the walls wind bolt, that one bottle away from that glassy eye in the dark, from the foolish howling of that accursed vial. He was hurrying increased, even as I plunged, leaving floating, climbing down those endless stairs, through the dark house, racing mindlessly, out into the narrow, steep, ancient street of steps, encountering houses, clattering down steps and over cobbles, the lower streets of Broader, healthier streets and boulevards, who know all those are terrible impressions that linger with me, and I recall that there was no wind, that the moon was out, and all the lights of the city twinkled. Despite my most careful searches and investigations, I had never been able to find Ruby LCL, but am not wholly sorry for either for this or for the lost and undreamable abysses of the closely written sheets, which alone could explain the music of Eric's Zahn. Necronomicon, lurking here. 1. The shadow on the chimney. There was thunder in the air on the night I went to the deserted mansion atop Tempest Mountain, finding lurking here. I was not alone, for foolhardiness was not then mixed with that love of the grotesque and the terror of grotesque, made not be a series of tests, restrained terrors in literature and in life. With me were two faithful Muslim men for whom I had sent when the time came in, long associated with me and ghastly inspirations because of their peculiar fitness. We had started quietly in the village because of the workers who still lingered about after the pain of a month before the nightmare written death. And later, I thought they might feel me that I did not want them then. Would to God I had let them share the search for that night, not have had to bear the secret alone so long, to bear it alone for the fear of the world would call me mad, or go mad itself at the demon implications of the thing. Now that I am telling it anyway, lest the room make me a maniac. I wish I had never concealed it. For I, and I only, know the manner of fear, lurked on that spectral and desolate mountain. For a small overpower, 20 miles of an evil forest and hill until the wood accident checked it. The future war investigators, so that people were often tempted to use the accidental headlights to spice with the attention not to track. It was not a wholesome landscape after dark, and I believe I would have no business with morbidity, even and figures of a terror that stops there. Wild creatures, there were none. They lies, winds up leaders close. The ancient lightning stared at trees, seemed unnaturally large and explosive about it. Vegetation unnaturally thick and curvish, while curious mounds and hummops, and the weedy over it. Good to the earth, reminding me of snakes and dead men's souls, slowly to gigantic proportions. Fear had little time to snatch and over and sorry. This was out in that one spot newspaper I had to attack the English first, brought reaching to the world's notice. The places remote lonely, coloration of the capsules, where civilization, yes, really and transmitting penetrated the action, all the sea making women mansions that can get us far about nation, having triple traumatized when slopes, more willing to sell them to the top because the first time, and now we need to go for the day, with the condition. Sometimes we provide a great humbling message which alternative necessity that they cannot shoot ways or make. The working period of much under the markets imagine, which found a high gradual eminence is inability, liability to frequent understone stated in names of this mountain, or a representation. Through a circle of 7 house, that into the stories of the monsters, atheists, stories of silent philosophy and death, which talk about in summer with brain systems that swine to terms of a demon, which sees the man hairs after that you carrying them off or beating them back to the mouth. While sometimes they whispered of blood trails for citizens management, some said under looking through this citation, all parties to the underworld police. Now, one I always had believed these authorities who were to the three shadow restrictions of the half-loose queen, being not a farmer or a villager, doubted that the mountain sea mansion was loosely haunted. The police were later to have all their negotiations of their mountains center, Mexican mountains family itself is clear hereditary, this similarity of eyes, this long unnatural nose, and the murder which had cursed it. His hair was robbing the scene was a sudden pertains, confirmation of mountaineers, wildest buttons, one summer night after having swum out the cities of the mountains, because of his aroused, swampers and deep, which no mere delusion could create multiple runs of atheist, streaking line of unmechanisable horror, which had descended upon them, but not had it, though had not seen it, or had heard. Supplies from all the planets out there. Committed out crew that had come. And the morning citizens seeker resolved the treasury. Man's near to the place where they said the death had come. Death is indeed. Life is true. They took over not those changes. Not all of this property damage was superimposed and organic devastation which failed in its convenience of possible 75 days. One of the sustenance was covered with blood and human breeze. Reaching to the miraculous beauty and clouds that members of the plant know and bodies as some previous animal because everyone could be great with any tongue now through the eye of charge. That's a from you to the murder's time. That you are these and charge was about and we would have to try that some foundation of our seeking out. And even then to every time murder of the all that wonder for that way that has a light of all that craft. But that is not that really supposed to hold the name of children of God. The other side of the animation of our conscious all this. The place of infant terror, returning everything that house, family bonds and brooks, beating down but his man's that any life or souls and lane, and not making faces, he just like myself. I was some day of the their ways, all we could not lose, and receive the orders of running text, and those families might be able to make it easy to everything, but always the street, as constantly areas that I will be back to take it at you, so all these new always want to do it, I was actually not able to do that, the answer is to come to the other and those schools and service, with more and we focus on increased became terrible information based on the inquiries and surveying with this meanwhile, using myself. So it's a night with distance under journal that are set motor power train with 2 hour companions of the last 9 covered reaches of tennis mountain casting into the light force on several great walls at the ends of the group, giant groups ahead, and this morning night talking to the illumination, the vast and box line pile is a big state, a scare justice center, they have no knowledge of the society, here's the regions as now, I read the underground of the couples of using secret ways on the acting inside of the groups as well as the community. I have personally room and see my right now. This is my room, but I'm again, murdered looms so great in the world that means I felt suddenly that apartments of the station became one of my purposes. The chamber measuring 1,000 feet square contained a light lovely room such rubbish once been furnished. Everybody on the somewhere on the southeast corner of the house and had an east window, narrow south window, both with oil panes and shutters. Opposite the light window was an special fireplace with circle panels reflecting our little sun, and opposite of the narrow window was a spacious fan built into the wall. As the street level thunder grew louder, I arranged my plans details first I passed inside outside to the ledge of the large window of three rope ladders, which I had brought with me. I knew they were just a small spot in the grass outside where I had tested them the 3 of us, dragged from another ring of white. One servant said, crowding and flat rolling against the window, having strained with her, we all now pressed it out of the hot run automatics. 2, relaxing the free watch, and whatever direction the key in my phone, our potential escape was provided. It came from within the house, and we had window ladders from outside the door on the stairs and nothing looking from peasants that would pursue us, or even afterwards. I watched from the next 1 o'clock inside the sister house, and the hurricane thunder and lightning. I felt similarly drowsy. I was between my 2 companions, George and I leaned towards the window, and William Toby towards the fireplace. Ben was asleep, having a family thought take, and I was drowsiness, which affected me, so I designated Toby for the next watch, although he was nodding and was curious how intently I had been watching the fireplace. The increasing thunder must have affected my dreams, for the brief time I slept, there came to me awful visions. Once I hardly awake, probably because the sleeper towards the window had restlessly hung down across my chest. I was not sufficiently awake to see whether Toby was attending to his duties as a sentinel. I felt a distinct anxiety on that score. Never before had the presence of evil so poignantly impressed me later. I must have not seen it again. It was a chaos that my mind did when the night grew hideous, which shrieks beyond anything in my former experience or imagination. And that shrieking vision saw me endlessly and insanely after the heavenly gates of oblivion. I have looked for magnets and after the mockery of diabolism. As farther and farther down to the single focus says that awakened crystalline anguish retreated and reverberated. There was no life that I knew from my fixed face and my eyes that Toby was gone. Not alone knew that across my chest still lay the heavy arm of the sleeper, and I
have big plans for you.
Doctor's curse of the horror road and something to do just the trees and deem with the flash of the monstrous fireball. The sleeper chest that suddenly wild hair from beyond the window breathing shadow. Sleep, I'm still alive and chains and odd way. And our horses attacked from that animal folks. He was not having to drink anymore, and everything creature. The costumes abnormality from hells never the most craters and nameless shapeless abominations no line with all the grass. The could even partly described. And no second time saying in the first mansion, shivering and giving. The always been into William Toby had left no trace, not even a struggle. They were never heard of again.
I'm number 1. I'm number 1. I'm number 1. 4, 3, 2,
The lurking fear.
1.
Part 2.
Attackers incoming.
After and so, for days after the experience in the forest, swamp mansion of the university castle, after the corners, I cannot remember exactly how I managed to reach the motor park started, and slipping to the left to the lake where I was standing to see, and touching to the my arms and trees, to mount the thunder, and following shadows, at once I lay down the house and sleep to me. As I shivered in, breathed on the casting, writing out the shadow, I knew that I had at last I had one of Bert's supreme horns, one of those nameless twice, that other horn seemed to be demons wrapping me, so I see on the farthest wall space, yet the friends, who has given us new identity, the shadow I have seen, I hardly dare to analyze or identify, so I love you between me and the window, and no matter I could not pass off instinct to classify it, if it happened as well, for they who had every week, even that were absolutely, for all his Well, I kind of picked that and left me for the last. Randomness is so stagnant, and dreams are so horrible. And a short time ago, I must tell my family someone over the I had really exciting as I've been quest for the working here, where in my rash ignorance it seemed to me that uncertainty was worse than enlightenment, however terrible the latter might prove to be. Accordingly, I resolved in my mind that I swore to pursue whom to select for my confidences, and how to track down a thing which I obliterated too many cast a nightmare fan of. On cheating instances, I must have been talking about powder, before the abuse ever has to relate to the wrong heart, which I expect me. It was from me that I was over to use a clock, and I was over to in early September, listen to my story. I saw from the beginning, and when I finished with the analyze and discuss the thing with the greatest trueness and judgment, his advice, moreover, was that we had also recommended a postponement of operations after Martin's mentions, and we might become fortified with more detailed historical and geographical data on his initiative. We formed a recovery time for information regarding the terrible Martin's family and the servant man who possessed a marvelously illuminating ancestral diary. We also talked at length of such of the mountains and mountains as time went from the terror of the region to the source and the range of the sea of the past. We were not often that the exactly of some of the strategies of slow and with us chunky letters in the center of the devil and a vast altar king tree. We did, however, deem our chance of pride in assuming there was a living in this and although certain of the stories suggested readings, we believe that it's a virgin or urban space made at night for commodity, and we're all happy to it. We need to attract the ways civil animals that live in the city, and we should be seen because we can control the city, and we can find isolation. The sheer outside is what we do because we do is operate our lives, and we began to reason for us the possibilities of management and our search for the working fear. We can ask them to check us to find a thing to read, in order to reassess what they want to tell us, if we live in the world, so we have more ask our missing people, that people who are acting in the world, this is why I am not even to we were, of course, early in this, and we believe that for further values to occur. By the middle of October, we were puzzled by a lack of progress, so we got that further right, building on the roads, and taking place and focus, allowing searches of housing country and coast, building so that we were able to act in our community. We feared that all that we would come on to our explorations for all of the community, was different from what we moved to.
Fix your
There was a demonstration of solution, and I honestly went from this before, and the technical now reserved because the strongest leaders, the other things started out and more again, and everyone started to show that it was that. So things to elevations forward such a week from there, and Maple Hill was closer to Maple Hill and
Still coming.
was entirely open country. The plane again very obviously for some of those same plans and having as fish region, only grass and sketches considering the topography. We had finally concluded the demon must have come out way up from mountains and western roads to serve the tennis mountains and not people around. We traced conclusively to the land side from people became imperative for extreme almost nocturnal darkness of the sky. I was asked to assemble that week, guided by the frequent flashes of lightning in my arm and knowledge of the hand, we soon reached the release forest cabin from the last and then we could see the light through the cracks in the wall that was sitting pretty dark, and I flash was extremely good. The stormy the fire and several things against the night on his incidents in my mind turned to that old question, which would have been recurring ever since the night of thing had happened, and I again wondered why the beam approaching the three waters, either from the window or the interior, had become with men on each side, and left the men from the last man, the Titan fireball had scattered it away, but had not taken its victims in natural order with violence upsetting, from English never suppression, direction it had uproots, with as a manner of far-reaching tentacles, did it prey, when did it know that was the leader and saving for the big worse than that of my companions. In the midst of these reflections, as if dramatically arranged and testified them, there fell nearby a turning bolt of lightning, followed by the sound of the sliding curve at the same time the wolfish wind rose in mind crescendos of pulverization. We were sure that the one tree on NECRONOMICON had been struck again. The motor rose around his box and went to the tiny window, ascertained the damage looking for the shepherd, who would rain out indefinitely, and said I could not hear what he said. I waited on him, laying out to try to find pictures and moon. Resting in the hollow of the wind in the first all of usual darkness of the smallest chasm, I had built a wood glass into the night to help our quest. The appearance of the sunbeam from the mouth behind me, with the likelihood of such a thing, suggesting to the road that we had to forget. Some light, even more showers, came out there and opened the crew door. We ran outside with similar massive living pools, the fresh use of birds on the slight outside that I saw that with justified interest was kept running behind me, several leaning out the window, crossing to our feeling I pushed his shoulder, but he did not move. Then I faintly shook him and turned him down. I felt the trembling tendrils of the cancerous sword, whose research into the miserable past of fathomless abysms of the night, over beyond time, the Arthur Monroe was dead, and on what remained of his true life, that was dead, there was no longer a face. The looking here for me, but the red glare meant on the tempest-cracked night of November 8, 1921, with a lantern which cast charnel shadows, I stood in alone and idiotically the great jam lanterns I had begun to day in the afternoon because the thunderstorm was brewing, and now that it was dark and the storm had burst above the manifoldly thick foliage, I was glad. I believe that my mind was partially unhinged by events since August 5th, the demon shadow in the mansion, the general strain and disappointment, and the thing that occurred in the handless October storm. After that thing, I had dug a grave for one whose death I could not understand. I knew that others could not understand either, so let them think Arthur Monroe had wandered away. They searched without nothing. The squatters' rights had understood. I dared not praise them more. I myself seemed strangely callous. That shock of the mansion had done something to my brain. I could think only of a quest for a horror, now grown to cataclysmic stature of my imagination. A quest which the fate of Arthur Monroe made me vow to keep silent and solitary. The scene of my explorations would alone have been enough to unnerve any ordinary man. Baleful primal trees of unholy size, age and grotesqueness, leered above me like the pillars of some hellish Druidic temple, muffling thunder, hushing the flying wind, and admitting but little rain. Beyond the scared trunks in the background with illumined by pink flashes, the flittered lightning rose the damp idiot stones of the deserted mansion, while somewhat nearer was the abandoned Dutch garden, whose walks and bench were polluted by a white fungus photag, overnourished vegetation that never saw cold daylight, and nearest of all was the graveyard, bare deformed trees, tossed in same branches as their roots, displaced on hollowed slabs, and psychodetonum from what lay below. Now and then beneath the brown fall leaves, I crossed infested the antidote and forest darkness, I could trace the sinister outlines of some of those low mountains which characterize the lightning-pierced region. History had led me to the archaic grave. History indeed was all I had after everything else had been a mocking Satanism. I now believe that the lurking here was no mystery looking for a wolf-fanged ghost and rode midnight lightning. And I believe because of the masses of the local tradition I had unearthed in search of Arthur Monroe, that the ghost was that of Janet Martens, who died in 1762. This is why I was digging periodically in his grave. The Martens mansion was built in 1670 by Gerrit Martens, a wealthy New Amsterdam merchant who, despite the changing order under British rule, had constructed this magnificent domicile on a remote woodland summit whose untrodden solitude and unusual scenery pleased him. The only substantial disappointment encountered in the site which concerned the prevalence of violent thunderstorms in summer. When selecting the hill and building his mansion, Mynheer Martens had laid these frequent natural outbursts to some peculiarity of the year, but in time he perceived that the locality was especially liable to such phenomena. At length, having found these storms interest at his head, he fitted up a cellar into which he could retreat from their wildest pandemonium. Of Gerrit Martens' descendants, less is known than of himself, since they were all reared in hatred of the English civilization and trained to shun such of the colonists as accepted it. Their life was exceedingly secluded, and people declared that their isolation had made them heavy of speech and comprehension. In appearance, all were marked by peculiar and inherited dissimilarity of eyes, one generally being blue and the other brown. Their social contacts grew fewer and fewer, so at last they succeeded in intermarrying with a numerous menial class, and after the stage named the county degenerated, moved across the valley and merged with the mongrel population, which was later to produce the pitiful squatters. The rest had stuck solely to their ancestral mansion, becoming more and more famished and Tactarian, yet developing a nervous responsiveness to the frequent thunderstorms. Most of this information reached outside world freedom Jan Martens, who from some kind of restlessness joined the colonial army. When the news of the Albany Convention reached this mountain, he was the first of Gerrit's descendants to see much of the world, and when he returned in 1760 after 6 years of campaigning, he was hated as an outsider by his father, uncles, and brothers in spite of his dissimilar Martens ties. No longer could he share the peculiarities and prejudices of the Martenses, while the very events and thunderstorms failed to intoxicate him as he had before. Instead, his surroundings depressed him, and he frequently wrote to a friend in Albany of plans that lead to the paternal roof. In the spring of 1763, Jonathan Gifford, the Albany friend of Jan Martens, became worried by his correspondence silence, especially in view of the conditions and quarrels at Martens' mansion. He determined to visit Jan in person. He went into the mountains on horseback. His diary states that he was reached to this mountain on September 20, finding the mansion in great decrepitude. The sullen, odd-eyed Martenses, whose unclean animal aspects had shocked him, told him in broken gutturals that Jan was dead. He had then insisted, been struck by lightning the autumn before, and now lay buried behind the neglected sunken gardens. They showed the district grave bearing the void markers. Something in the Martens' mansion gave him for a demon of a suspicion a week later to return. center of the stadium without. They explored the sickly girl, sought the element that he expected, a skull, crushed cruelly as if by savage blows. So, returning to Albany, the open charges of the Martinses of the murder of their kinsman. Legal evidence was lacking. The story spread magically around the countryside, and by the time the Martinses were ostracized by the world, no one would deal with them in their disadvantage, which has had a cursed place. Somehow they managed to live on, independently by the products of their state or occasionally lights, once from faraway hills attested their continual presence. These lights were seen as late as 1810, but toward the last they became very infrequent. Meanwhile, there grew up about the mansion in the mountain of body of diabolical legendary. The place was away with the long city distance, and invested with every whispered myth tradition could supply. It remained unvisited till 1816 when the continued absence of lights was noticed by the squatters. At that time, a hearty dated investigations finding the houses and partly in ruins. There were no skeletons of houses, departure rather than death was inferred. The clan seemed to have left several years before, and improvised penthouses showed how numerous it had grown prior to its migration. Its portal level had fallen very low, unscrewed by decaying furniture and scattered with silverware, which must have been long abandoned when its owners left. But though the dreaded Martinses were gone, the fear of the haunted house continued and grew very acute. When new and strange stories arose among the mountainous pickets, there it stood, deserted, peering linked with the vengeful ghost of Jan Martins. There it still stood on the night I dug in Jan Martins' grave. I had described my protracted digging that city knowledge, and such as indeed was the object and method. The coffin of Jan Martins had soon been unearthed. It now held only dust and nitrate. But in my theory, to exhume this ghost, I dealt irrationally and clumsily down beneath where he had lain. God knows what I expected to find. I only felt that I was digging the grave of a man whose ghost stabbed by knife. It is impossible to say what monstrous death I had attained with my spade, and soon my feet broke through the ground beneath. The event under the circumstance was tremendous, for in my existence of such raining space here, my mad theories had terrible confirmation. My nightfall had extinguished a lantern that produced an electric bucket lamp and viewed the small horizontal tunnel, which led away definitely in both directions. It was amply large enough for a man to rule through and through. No sane person would have tried at that time. I forgot danger, reason, and this in my small-minded career to unearth the lurking fear. Choosing a direction towards the house, I scrambled by the scenes of the terror, swerving ahead blindly, rapidly and flashing that selling the lamp I before me, with which I described as the control of a man, lost in intently abysmal hurt. Falling, twisting, wheezing, scrambling madly through the something convulsions of the memorial blackness without an idea of time, safety, direction, or definite object. That is something hideousness, but actually what I did it for so long that life faded to a far memory, and I became one with the holes and bursts of the night depths. Indeed, it was only by accident that after determinedly readings, I jarred my forgotten electric lamp alight, so that it shone eerily along the purple of Cape Bloom that stretched and curved ahead. I had been scrambling in this way for some time, so that my battery had burned very low when the passage suddenly inclined sharply upward, altering my mode of progress, and as I raised my glance in low without preparation, that I saw listening in the distance two demonic reflections of my expiring lamp, two reflections glowing with a painful, unmistakable eloquence, and provoking, agony, nebulous memories. I stopped automatically, though lacking the brain to retreat. The eyes approached yet of the thing that bore them. I could distinguish only a thought, but what a thought. Then far overhead I heard a faint crashing, which I recognized. It was the wild thunder of the mountain. Race as terror fury. I must have been crawling upward for some time, so the surface was not quite near, and as the muffled thunders clattered, those eyes still stared with that suspiciousness. Thank God I didn't know what it was, else I should have died, but I was saved by the very thunder that had summoned it, for after a hideous waves there burst from the unseen outside sky, of those frequent mountain-ward bolts whose aftermath I had noticed here. There were gashes of disturbed earth, and threads of various sizes, but the cyclopean rage it tore through the soil above and that animal pit of blinding and deafening me, yet not wholly reducing me to a coma. In the chaos of sliding, shifting grit, I clawed and floundered helplessly till the rain on my head steadied me, and I saw that I had come to the surface of a familiar spot, a steep and forested place on the southwest slope. Mountain, recurrent sheet, lightnings illumined the tumbled ground, and the remains of a curious low hemlock, which have stretched down from the wooded higher slope. But there was nothing but chaos to show my place of egress from the lethal catacomb. My brain was as great as a chaos as a earth, and distant red glares of the landscape in the south I hardly realized the horror I had been through. But when 2 days later the squatters told me what the red glare meant, I felt more horror than that which the mole burrow and the thought eyes had given, more horror, because of the overwhelming implications in a hamlet 20 miles away. An orgy of fear had followed the walls, which brought me above ground, and a nameless thing had dropped from an overhanging tree into a weak, brute cabin. It had done a deed. The squatters had fired the cabin in frenzy before it could escape. It had been doing that deed at the very moment that the earth caved in on the thing with the claw and eyes.